Chapter 2027. It's okay if you don't believe me, but it doesn't matter now because Ruanqingqing is dead. Dead? No, that's impossible. Qingqing is so smart. How could she die? Perhaps this is what they call evildoers are doomed to destruction. When Ruanqingqing was escaping, the boat exploded. Her body is gone. All the money she cared about turned into ashes. This time, she can't go back to Vietnam, and you can't go back either. Did you know that? Even though your crimes aren't enough to warrant the death penalty, you will at least be sentenced to 20 years. You will spend the rest of your life in prison. When you come out, you will be an old man with one foot in the grave. Huasi, take a good look at yourself. How stupid are you? Everyone says that Huasi Qian is scolding you, but you are such a disappointment. You don't have to care about what I do. Huasi was agitated. You think too much. As my enemy, do you think I would care about you? I want you to die right now. I'm just here to check on Yan Yan. After all, you are one of the few family members she has. Yan Yan used to be ridiculous, but after what happened in the past few years, she has changed. She has calmed down and will start a new life. As for you, you won't have the chance. Take care of yourself. After speaking, Huamin got up to leave. Wait. Huamin, Huasi suddenly shouted. What is it? Who solved the mother-son bomb? Huasi always thought that this bomb was the most perfect and insane design. He even thought that Huamin loved his children so much that he would sacrifice himself for them. He didn't think that such a difficult bomb would be solved by someone else. He simply couldn't accept it. The person who developed it. After saying these words, Huamin walked away without looking back. Huasi was left standing there in a daze. He seemed to be thinking about the meaning behind Huamin's words. After leaving prison, Huamin drove to South Side. He had a meeting with President Wu and a few other neurosurgeons to prepare for Dahai's mother's surgery. After a whole day, Huamin was exhausted. When they got home, Qin Chu was already home. Everyone was in the living room waiting for Huamin to come back for dinner. Mommy's back. Little Bean stood up. Sis-in-law, you don't have to work anymore. Why are you still so busy? Qin Ning smiled. There are a lot of messy things. Honey, have you settled things at Southside? Qin Chu was more concerned about when his wife would go back to become a doctor. It's done. President Wu said that I can go to work at any time. I'll perform the surgery for Dahai's mother tomorrow. Mommy, you're amazing. Pudding gave her a thumbs up. Aren't you embarrassed to say that? You were the one who promised her. Huamin laughed. I was just trying to save my own life. You have to give your daughter a thumbs up, okay? Pudding said proudly. Yes, 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 you're the best. Alright, ancestor, let's go eat. I'm starving. When Huamin said that he was hungry, Uncle Li immediately told the kitchen to prepare dinner. The whole family gathered around. The twins held Tiantian's hand and the three of them sat next to each other lovingly. Just then, Qin Chu received a phone call. It was from Gao Ran. On the phone, Gao Ran told Qin Chu a shocking piece of news. When Qin Chu heard it, his expression changed slightly. Then, he glanced at Huamin, who wasn't far away. What happened, honey? Huamin asked anxiously. Chapter 2028. Huasi. Something happened to him, Qin Chu replied faintly. What happened? Huamin froze. Huasi is dead, dead. How did he die? Huamin was dumbfounded. Suicide. The news just came from prison. Mian. Did you tell him something? I told him that Yuan Qingqing was dead. He must have lost all hope, Huamin said quietly. I see. It's good that he's dead. Actually, I thought about it. Even if Hua Xiqin didn't die, I wouldn't let him go. He almost killed you and Little Bean. Even if I let him go, Hua Xiqin wouldn't let him go. So, Mian, you don't have to feel guilty. Hua Mian shook her head. No, honey. I don't feel guilty, and I don't feel guilty at all. Hua Si is a crazy bastard, I don't feel sorry for him. It's good that he's dead. Otherwise, Hua Xiqin wouldn't have let him go. Plus, he would have died a much more tragic death. I just feel bad for Yan Yan. She doesn't have many family members left in her life. I wonder if Xinjiani is still causing trouble in Vietnam, or if she'll come back and seek revenge after hearing that her son is dead. Hua Min said worriedly. I don't think she'll come back for revenge. Didn't Lu Yen say that she was going to get rid of the Vietnamese gang? I don't think they'll have a chance to come back for revenge. Lu Yen is furious after what happened to you and Little Bean. If she wasn't in the Golden Triangle right now, she would have blown them up. Qin Chu knew Lu Yan's hot temper too well. Hua Min's face warmed up at the mention of his sister. Yan has a hot temper. She's not like me at all. But it's good. With her personality, she won't be bullied. Plus, it feels good to be protected by my sister. Hua Min smiled happily. It's more than just protection. I think she's overbearing. Qin Chu smiled. Honey, do you think Yan is in danger in the Golden Triangle? I'm so worried about her. Hua Min couldn't get in touch with Lu Yen. Unless Lu Yen looked for her, she had no way of contacting her. Ever since they parted yesterday, Lu Yen jumped out of the second-floor window and went to the top of the mountain. Hua Mian was really worried. Although she knew that her sister was very powerful, she still didn't feel confident. Don't worry, honey. You should be worried. You have to pray that your sister doesn't destroy their home. Hua Mian's shoulders comfort. Hua no. Hua Mian was not traumatized by Hua Si's death. In fact, she was quite relieved. Everyone had to be responsible for their own mistakes, and Hua Si was no exception. Was. After all, Hui Yanyan said she was going to visit Hua Si after she got out of the hospital. In fact, even if Hua Mian didn't tell him that, he would be sentenced to life imprisonment or more than 30 years in prison. Hua Si wouldn't be able to take it. Plus, Hua Xiqin would do something to the prison. Hua Si would be in a worse state than he was now. Hua Mian's choice to die was a wise choice. It was a relief. After dinner, Yang Meirong took the kids upstairs to play. Tian was a little reserved and didn't like to talk. Hua Mian was glad that the twins were having so much fun and had already treated this place as their home. Qin Chu went back to the study and began to discuss the work at the headquarters with Qin Ning. The siblings even had some arguments. Hua Min and Jixin sat on the sofa and chatted. Jixin picked up an orange, opened it, and handed it to Hua Min. Sis, have an orange. Hey, no one is unaccountably nice. What's going on? Do you need something from me? Hua Min smiled wickedly. Chapter 2029. Pfft, is your brother like that in your eyes? I'm a super nice guy who loves my sister, Jixin retorted. Fine, if you're not going to tell me, then I'm going upstairs to sleep. Hua Min pretended to get up and leave. Hey, sis, don't, I have something to do. Hua Min tried to sound Jixin out, and Jixin immediately lost his cool. I knew you had something to say. Tell me. Hua Min put a small piece of orange in his mouth and chewed. Then, he crossed his legs and looked at Jishin. He could guess what he was going to say. After all, he was his little brother, so he knew him well. Sis, I'm going to tell you, but don't laugh at me. Let's talk first. Jishin seemed to be a little conflicted. Hurry up and say it. Cut the crap, I hate it when guys talk nonsense. Hwamian was getting impatient. She didn't want Jishin to be indecisive like a woman. He had to be as decisive as Mr. Chin. Even if he couldn't, he had to be as decisive and wise as Su Yu and Wei Liao. Sis, you know that I like Bella, right? Yeah, is there a problem? Hwamin asked. Recently. I've been troubled. I've been thinking about how to confess to her properly, the kind that can make her officially date me. Damn it, you haven't done it yet? It's been so long, Jishin, can you do it or not? I have to take it slow. I don't want to scare her away too quickly. Jishin looked wronged. Don't tell people that you're my little brother. You're so slow when it comes to picking up girls, I'm so mad at you. Hwamin was speechless. Sis, don't just stand there and talk, okay? You know better than me what kind of person Bella is. She's a strong woman. Her personality is almost as good as yours, how can I be like a little girl? Plus, if we can't get her and get rejected, it'll be so awkward. Jishin rolled his eyes at his sister. I don't think so. From what I know about Bella, I think she prefers a domineering man, not a submissive little brother like you. So, Jishin, if you really want to pursue Bella, you have to show your power. What do you mean? Jishin put a slice of orange into his mouth and looked at his sister adorably. If you like her, then go get her. Hwamin said decisively. And then? Jishin quietly waited for her to continue. If it doesn't work, I'll drug him. Hwamin's words almost made Jishin choke on the orange in his mouth. Then, he coughed violently. Cough, cough, cough. Are you okay? Is there a need for such a big reaction? Hwamin disagreed. If you like him, then go get him. If you don't like him, then drug him. You really are my sister. Jishin wanted to cry but had no tears. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. But my words do make sense. Which part makes sense? Drug him? Jishin asked. Of course not. Are you an idiot? What I mean is, if you want to pursue Bella, then be more domineering and aggressive. Take the initiative. After all, you have to take the initiative to pursue a girl. Even if you don't succeed, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. You're an adult, who cares about that in the workplace? Okay. I'll choose an auspicious day and then I'll confess to Bella. Jishin finally made up his mind. Sis. You and brother-in-law have to support me, I'm your only little brother. Chapter 2030. How? Hwamin smiled. I think you can ask my brother-in-law to give me and Bella a chance to go on a business trip alone. That would be perfect, Jishin said with a cheeky smile. Why don't you go to heaven? A business trip alone. Why don't you just ask your brother-in-law to give you a marriage? Hwamin glared at him. If my brother-in-law agrees, then of course I'm willing. Don't be so shameless. Go to bed. Hwamin smiled as he pinched Jishin's nose. Then, he put on his slippers and went upstairs. Before Hwamin went back to his bedroom, he went to the twins' room to take a look. They were still playing with blocks and dolls on the floor. Their mother was also patiently knitting a sweater. He looked at the three children. Tian, are you sleepy? If you're tired, then go to bed early. Hwamin looked at Huayanyan's daughter gently. Auntie, I'm not sleepy. I want to play a little longer, Tian said softly. Okay, don't stay up too late. You have to go to dance class with your sister tomorrow. Auntie prepared a beautiful dress for you. Thank you, Auntie. Tian was very polite. Mommy, can you stop wasting time? You're not even 30 yet. Don't give me the impression that you're going through menopause. Pudding began to complain. Huamin was speechless. Mommy, good night. Bye, go to bed early. Otherwise, you won't be pretty if you have crow's feet. If you're not pretty, Daddy won't love you anymore. If he doesn't love you, he won't be able to have a little brother with you. Little Bean was much more vicious than Pudding. Huamin's face turned red and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You too, don't be so rude. Especially you, Little Bean. If I hear you say such filthy things again, Mommy won't forgive you. Okay. I'm just joking with you. Can you take a joke? Little Bean immediately found a way out for herself. In the study, Qin Chu and Qin Ning went into workaholic mode. The two of them first had a video conference with Qin Ning's father, who was at the headquarters in the United States. They made some big decisions. After that, Qin Chu took out the company's latest reform plan and discussed it with Qin Ning. By the time he was done, it was already past 11 o'clock at night. All right, it's about time. Let's call it a day. You should go get some rest. Qin Chu glanced at his sister. Big brother, you're such a workaholic. I came here to see my niece in private vacation mode, but you dragged me into work mode and took up my private time. Boo-hoo. I have a hard life. Come on, you think I don't know you? You're the best at finding joy in your work. You should thank me for giving you a chance to perform. Qin Chu joked with her on purpose. Oh, not bad. Brother, you actually have a sense of humor now. Looks like sister-in-law taught you well. Don't talk nonsense. I've always been the one teaching your sister-in-law. How could she teach me? Qin Chu smirked. Just then, Qin Ning suddenly thought of something. She asked tentatively, Big brother, are you close with Su Yu? Why did you suddenly bring him up? Qin Chu always had an indescribable feeling about Su Yu. He wasn't a friend, but he wasn't an enemy either. It's all because of your two daughters. They keep talking about Su Yu this and Su Yu that. So I'm curious, what kind of man is he? Su Yu. I don't think he's suitable for you, Qin Chu slowly said after thinking for a long time. For some reason, Qin Ning was quite disappointed when she heard this. She didn't want to give up and asked, Big brother, why do you say that? How do you know we're not suitable? Chapter 2031. Su Yu. I won't comment too much on him, and you shouldn't be too interested in him. That's all. Qin Chu didn't seem to want to say more, but the more he didn't, the more interested Qin Ning became. After the siblings finished talking about work, they went back to their respective rooms. When Qin Chu came back, Huamin was already lying in bed. Winters in the north were especially long, and there would be about 4 months of extremely cold weather every year. The good thing was that there was heat in the room, and it was like spring all year round. This was the time when Huamin felt like she was bursting with happiness. She was curled up in her blanket, reading a pathology book. Ever since she resigned from GK, she felt much more relaxed. Qin Chu was very supportive of her going back to being a doctor. It was the happiest thing for her in a while. Honey, what are you reading? You look so serious. After taking a shower, Qin Chu walked over and hugged Huamin from behind. I'm studying. I haven't been back to South Side in a long time. It's been more than 4 years. Although President Wu and everyone else trust me, I can't let my guard down. That's right, study hard. Good luck. Qin Chu smiled and stroked her long hair. Then, he lay down next to Huamin. The two of them were tightly pressed against each other. How are things on your end? Are you done? Huamin put down her book and asked. Yeah, almost. With Ningning here, it's a lot easier for me. I just don't know if the headquarters will approve of the reforms here, Qin Chu pondered. Take it slow. The reforms can't be done in a day or two. I understand that you're anxious to keep up with the times and integrate with the world. But our company has such a large team, it can't be done in a day. It needs a lot of time. Yes, honey, you're always right. Qin Chu chuckled. Ha! Why do you sound like you're an incapable ruler? Don't think that I'm always right, do you think I'm right? You're right, you're right. Mr. Qin nodded. So obedient. Something's not right. Huamin felt that something was off when he saw Mr. Qin being so easygoing. Honey, you're thinking too much. Your husband has always been so obedient, okay? Then let's go to bed. You have an early meeting tomorrow morning. With that, Huamin reached out to turn off the lights. However, Qin Chu grabbed her hand and flipped her over, pressing her on top of him. What are you doing? Huamin jumped in fright. He wasn't mentally prepared, so, honey, I'm too cold. Qin Chu said seriously. So? Huamin had a vague feeling that the next sentence wouldn't be anything good. As expected. So? I want to do some warm-up exercises with you to keep warm. You're shameless. Huamian blushed at his teasing. Qin Chu laughed arrogantly. Then, he bent down and nibbled on her red, pouty lips. The rarest thing about Huamin was that whenever she was with Qin Chu, she would always be shy like a young girl. Therefore, Qin Chu would occasionally tease her about this matter, making the two of them feel like they had been in love for the first time many years ago. Mr. Qin's stamina was great, his waist was strong, and he had great energy. Therefore, when Huamin woke up the next morning, he almost fell to the ground. Fuck, my legs are so weak. Huamian mumbled. Honey. What are you mumbling to yourself about? Mr. Qin turned over and looked at Huamin with sleepy eyes. Chapter 2032. It's fine. Honey, you can sleep a little longer. I'll go downstairs and make breakfast for everyone. Perhaps it was because this was the first time in 4 years that Huamin was reporting to Southside, so she was very excited. She even got up before 6 o'clock and volunteered to prepare breakfast for everyone. The maids in the kitchen were all shocked, they were so scared that they tried to persuade her. A young lady, we can do it. Just tell us what you want to eat. Yeah, a young lady, we know how to make both Chinese and Western food. Please don't come in. The kitchen is so cold. I don't want you to catch a cold. Mr. Qin will be worried about you. Hurry up and go upstairs. Even Uncle Li came over to persuade her. A young lady, just leave it to them. You still have to go to work today, don't work too hard. Uncle Li, it's not hard. I just can't sleep and I'm so happy. I want to make breakfast for my husband and children. Don't be nervous, really. Huamin was speechless when she saw how nervous everyone was. She wasn't a rich girl who didn't know how to do anything. She came from an ordinary family. Although her cooking wasn't particularly delicious, it was still acceptable. She had cooked for Mr. Qin before. Back then, they had just gotten married and were living in Imperial Park. The two of them were still living in a sweet and cozy world. However, as their careers got busier and busier, they were both busy with their own things and rarely had the chance to cook. Hearing Huamian's words, the others didn't insist. The maids helped Huamin, and she was very busy. When the twins and Qin Chu woke up, Huamin had already prepared a sumptuous breakfast. When Qi Ning came downstairs, she was shocked. "Sis-in-law. I heard you made all this." "Yeah, what do you think? Do you have an appetite?" Huamin asked proudly with her hands on her hips. "Amazing. Damn, you're so talented. You even know how to steam buns." Qi Ning was full of admiration as she looked at the exquisite soup dumplings. "Did Big Sis make breakfast? That's unbelievable." Jixin scratched the back of his head. "So, Mommy, is it an important day today?" Pudding looked at the breakfast on the table and then looked at her mother. Little Bean greedily took a red bean pie and took a bite. "It tastes really good. Mommy, you're in such a good mood today, can I make a request?" Little Bean took the opportunity to extort. "Tell me about it. Can I eat a little bit more than every day? After all, I made it myself." Little Bean looked at her mother pitifully. Because she always ate too much, Huamin forbade her to look at him when they were eating. She couldn't eat too much. If she ate a little, she wouldn't be allowed to continue eating the main dishes. She could only drink soup for the rest. "Sure." Huamin smiled at Little Bean and gave her an exception. Qin Chu was the last to go downstairs for breakfast. When he came down, he was already dressed in a suit. Because he was too good-looking, he looked handsome no matter what he wore. "Brother, look at how virtuous your wife is. She made so much delicious food. Thank you for your hard work," Qin Ning said. Qin Chu looked at the breakfast and then looked at Huamin. "Honey, did you make all of this?" Please praise me." Huamin walked over and leaned on Qin Chu's chest like a little bird. "Tonight, I'll serve you even harder," Qin Chu whispered into Huamin's ear. Qin Ning immediately blushed. "Huh? Mommy's blushing. Did Daddy say something embarrassing?" Little Bean began to gossip. Chapter 2033. Let's eat. Huamin coughed awkwardly and went back to the table with Qin Chu. After breakfast, Qin Chu went to the company and Huamin went to South Side. Little Bean and Tian Tian were playing with toys at home while Pudding looked out the window with a lot on her mind. "What's wrong? What's on your mind?" Qin Ning walked over. "Auntie. I want to go to the hospital to see the big blockhead." Qin Ning immediately knew who Pudding was talking about because she had told her about the incident earlier. "No problem, I'll drive you there, really?" Pudding was surprised. "Of course. Let's go. I'm not very familiar with this place yet." "Okay, I'll go change." After saying that, Pudding ran upstairs and changed into a white long-sleeved lace princess dress with a red fur vest. She was wearing a red beret and looked very pretty. "Little Bean, I'm going to the hospital to see the big blockhead. Do you want to come?" Pudding asked. "I'm not going. I'll stay at home and play with Tian Tian." "You go and say hi for me," Little Bean said like an adult. "Okay. When we come back in the afternoon, I'll ask Auntie to pick you up. I'm going to have afternoon tea with Handsome Sue." "Awesome. No problem, I'll wait for you guys at home." "You guys be careful," Little Bean said and continued playing with Tian Tian. After the sisters reached an agreement, Pudding held Auntie's hand and walked out. Qin Ning picked a white Porsche 918 from the underground garage of South Hill Manor. Then, she took Pudding to the first hospital. Inside the room, the nurse was wiping Dahai's face. He was seriously injured and couldn't take care of himself, so he was in a lot of pain. He looked a lot more haggard. "Hey, big blockhead," Pudding walked over and greeted him. "Little Pudding, you're here." The man smiled honestly. "How are you feeling today?" Does it still hurt? Pudding asked in a cute voice. No. I'm a big man, what's there to be afraid of? You think too much of me. Dahai laughed. Mommy said, your injuries aren't light. You even injured your internal organs. You have to rest well. I know. Your mommy gave me a lot of money. She even said that she would do surgery for my mom. Thank you. Don't worry, my mommy is a woman of her word. She's going to work at Southside today, and she'll probably have the surgery today. By the time you recover, your mom will probably have recovered as well. Yes, yes. This is the happiest thing in my life. Dahai was a little touched. He raised his hand to wipe his tears. I told you I wasn't lying. I did what I promised you, Pudding said proudly. Yes, I believe you too. That's why I'm where I am today. Dahai still felt that his kindness was being rewarded. Do you know what happened to those bad guys? Pudding stood by the bed and asked. Dahai shook his head. The bad guys who watched over us with you were all sentenced to more than 20 years. I heard that the leader of the bad guys, the guy named Huasi, died in prison. His partner, the Vietnamese woman, was also killed by the explosion. Evil deeds are doomed to destruction. If you do too many bad things, you'll be punished by the heavens. Dahai, remember, no matter how poor you are, you can't steal, rob, or do bad things. You have to have a backbone, okay? Pudding actually started lecturing him. Chi Ning couldn't help but laugh when she heard this. Her niece had turned into Tang Sanzang, and no one could stop her. Chapter 2034. The strangest thing was that the man actually nodded his head as if he was possessed by gods and demons. He looked as if he was obedient. I'll remember that, little one. You're right. Although I don't really understand what you meant by doing evil, I know you're telling me not to do bad things and to be a good person. Good things will come to me in the future. Emichim, you're a promising child. I'll come visit you when I have time. Dahai, thank you for saving my sister and me. You'll have a better life in the future. Take care of yourself. Pudding comforted him like an adult before leaving the room. Pudding, you're too mature. I'm not used to it. Ha, I feel like you know everything. Chi Ning laughed. I know everything, Pudding said proudly. Okay, I know. Little princess, you're the best and smartest. So, what are we going to do now? Chi Ning looked at her niece. Pudding looked at her watch. I asked Handsome Sue out for afternoon tea, but it's still early. Do you want to go bowling? Bowling? You know how to. Chi Ning was surprised. Don't be surprised. There's nothing I can't do. Only things you can't think of. Pudding smiled mysteriously. Then it's decided. Let's go. Auntie will take you. Chi Ning and Pudding hit it off. After leaving the hospital, they went directly to a high-end indoor sports club. The aunt and niece played bowling. On the other hand, Huamin went to work at Southside for the first time. At the Southside staff meeting, President Wu announced that Huamin would continue to be the chief neurologist. At the same time, she would also be the vice director of Southside Recuperation Center. Now, let's have Dr. Huaf say a few words. Welcome. President Wu was in a good mood and started clapping. The crowd burst into thunderous applause. Although it had been 4 years, Huamian's name still carried a lot of weight at Southside. As Huamin's assistant, Chen Jie's eyes were filled with tears. She couldn't help but secretly send a video to Anai Yang. Look at how amazing our sister is. Chen Jie typed to Anai Yang. Sister Mian is awesome. Hurry up and take more videos. I want to see how she looks when she's a doctor again. Ni Yang was doing his makeup in the dressing room when he saw the video. He was a little excited. Huamin was flattered by President Wu's speech. He stood up and clasped his hands together. Thank you for your trust and support from all my colleagues. I really like Southside. When I was young, my dream was to be an outstanding doctor. I didn't go against my heart, my professional ethics, or my personal integrity. I just wanted to do my job well and help the patients around me recover to a healthy state because of me. After 4 years, I didn't even dare to imagine that I would be able to return to this position. I just want to thank you, Mr. Director, and all the teachers for your trust in me. I'll work harder in the future. Thank you. Huamian didn't say too many flowery words, nor did she try to be polite. She spoke from the bottom of her heart. She was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes. She loved this place so much, she had dreamt so many times that she would come back to work here. She liked it when people called her Dr. Hua. She was always proud of being a doctor. From this moment on, her resume at Southside had to be rewritten. Huamin, female, 28 years old, was the youngest chief neurologist in the country and an outstanding doctor who had won international awards. Chapter 2035. She was also the youngest vice director in the country. Due to her intelligence and outstanding medical skills, she was promoted again and again. Now, even though she was promoted to vice director, no one would think that she used her connections to get in. In order to become a doctor, she even resigned from her position as GK's president. How could someone like her care about fame and fortune? She was probably in a world that many people couldn't see through. After the morning meeting, Huamin immediately immersed himself in his work. In just one morning, he received 8 patients from the neurology department and diagnosed them, prescribed medicine, and treated them. When it was almost noon, Chen Jia walked in with a thick stack of documents. Chief, the professors from the neurology department asked me to show you these. They said that Sun Dehai's mother's surgery will be at 3 p.m., and they want you to be there on time. Got it. Leave the documents here, I'll read them right away. But it's noon, it's time for lunch, Chen Jia reminded him as she looked at her watch. Go eat, just bring some takeout for me. I still have a lot of documents to read. Huamin found his old life again and even felt that being busy was a form of happiness. Seeing Huamin so immersed in his work, Chen Jia smiled happily. Okay, Chief, I'll leave you to it. Then, she quietly closed the door. After Chen Jia left, Huamin was just about to continue working when her phone rang. It was a video call invitation. She looked at the caller ID, smiled, and quickly picked it up. Hello, Mr. Qin, Dr. Hua, congratulations. It looks like I'll have to call you Director Hua from now on. Qin Chu narrowed his eyes as he looked at his wife. You're so well informed. Huamin was proud. Of course, it's such a big deal, how could I not know? It's all over the news. President Wu is getting old, so he's being more high profile. Huamin was speechless. How are we going to celebrate tonight? What do you want to eat? I'll make a reservation, Qin Chu asked. Not necessarily tonight. There's a surgery at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm not sure what time I'll be out. Huamin seemed to be in a difficult position. Okay, Dr. Hua, you're already so focused on your work. I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Remember, don't overwork yourself. Do you hear me? Mr. Qin ordered in a domineering tone. Respect, Lord Qin. Go ahead then. Remember to eat. I'll continue with the meeting. After Qin Chu hung up the phone and was about to organize the meeting materials, he heard Bella report, President Qin, someone wants to see you, but he doesn't have an appointment. Who is it? Chin Chu raised his head. Bella hesitated for a moment before replying slowly, "It's the movie star, Miss Mo Schwer. I don't know her." Chin Chu decisively refused. "But Miss Mo said that she had something important to discuss with you. She even said that it was a private matter, so, private matter." Chin Chu furrowed his brows slightly and put down the documents in his hands. "Let her in." Chin Chu wasn't familiar with Mo Schwer, but he knew about her relationship with Hua Xiqin. Therefore, he roughly knew what she wanted to discuss with him. Therefore, he decided to let her in. Mo Schwer wore 7-inch crystal heels and a bareback dark blue gown. She looked sexy and luxurious. She looked a lot better than before. She didn't look as haggard as she did a while ago. It was obvious that she wasn't affected by the negative news anymore. It's so hard to see President Qin. After Mo Schwer walked in, she sat down on the sofa. Then, she took out a cigarette from her bag. Before she could light it up, Chin Chu stopped her. "Sorry, this is a non-smoking area." "Okay." Mo Schwer pouted helplessly. Then, she looked up at Chin Chu with a smile. "President Qin. I'm here today to work with you." Chapter 2036. Work together. What do you mean? Chin Chu raised his head and asked coldly. "President Qin, you're a smart person. You should know what I mean. Even though I'm an artist, your company is no longer in the entertainment industry. So, of course, we can't work together," Mo Schwer explained with a smile. "Even if you're in the entertainment industry, we won't work together. I won't give an employee who betrayed me a second chance to betray me." Chin Chu said word for word. Mo Schwer's expression changed slightly. She knew what Chin Chu meant. Not only did Mo Schwer jump ship, but she also took many other artists with her. "I didn't think President Qin would hold a grudge." "This has nothing to do with holding a grudge. I'm just stating facts. I believe that I'm not the only one. No boss would accept an employee who repeatedly betrays them. So, I'm not interested in working with you. My time is precious. Ms. Mo, please leave." It was obvious that Chin Chu had no interest in talking to Mo Schwer anymore. This woman's sarcastic tone really made people feel uncomfortable. President Qin, calm down. I haven't said anything yet. No matter what you say, I'm not interested." Chin Chu was still as cold as ever as he cut off Mo Schwer's words. "What if I say that I can work with you against Hua Xiqin? You know, I've been by his side for many years. I know how he does things and I know a lot of his secrets. I also know that President Qin hates Hua Xiqin the most. So, can we work together to get rid of him? He's still injured and hasn't recovered yet. This is the perfect opportunity. What do you think?" Mo Schwer stated her goal in one breath. Chin Chu didn't seem surprised at all. Perhaps he already thought of this when Mo Schwer stepped through the door. "I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in the personal grudges between Miss Mo and Hua Xiqin. Between me and Hua Xiqin, it's not something that can be explained with just a simple word. I don't need a woman who's not related to me to help me," Chin Chu refused without hesitation. "Chin Chu, are you that confident in dealing with Hua Xiqin? You have no idea how terrifying he is. I've already experienced how terrifying he can be. There's no need for Miss Mo to remind me." "I can guarantee that you don't know. You don't even know that he has a scary side to him." Mo Schwer paused. "How is he?" Chin Chu raised his head and asked. "Forget it. Since you don't want to cooperate with me, I won't say too much. Anyway, you'll definitely regret being so arrogant. But even if you don't cooperate with me, I can still slowly deal with him. Chin Chu's refusal disappointed Emo Shui. She stood up angrily, grabbed her bag, and walked out the door. Chin Chu didn't think much of it and continued to work. He didn't want to work with Su Yu in the first place, and now he definitely wouldn't work with a cunning woman. He had to deal with Hua Xichen himself. He had to take revenge with his own hands. Inside the high-end sports hall, Pudding was so good at bowling that a lot of people came to watch. Qi Ning twisted open a bottle of water and drank it. She was a little proud of her niece's performance. Oh my god, this kid is a genius. How old is she? Someone asked. She's only 3 years old, Qi Ning replied proudly. Oh my god, she's only 3 years old. Is she really your daughter? Someone asked Qi Ning. She was so angry that she almost spat out her water. Chapter 2037. How is that possible? I'm not married yet. She's my niece, okay? Qi Ning rolled her eyes at her older brother. Not far away, Tang Chuan, who hadn't been seen in a long time, walked in with a young model with a small waist and big breasts. Tang Chuan was also a sports enthusiast. He liked to play basketball and golf. When the weather was bad, he would also come indoors to play badminton, table tennis, and bowling. During the marriage alliance, Tang Chuan stubbornly endured it. Seeing that he was stubborn, his family began to give up on him. Tang Chuan continued to spend his days flirting with girls and indulging in a life of luxury. What's going on? There are so many people here. Is there a fight? As soon as Tang Chuan walked in, he saw a group of people gathered together. No, young Master Tang. President Qin's youngest daughter is here. She's bowling really well, a male manager said carefully. President Qin's youngest daughter. Could they be twins? Tang Chuan had gone on a trip with a group of beauties around the world with a few super-rich second-generation heirs. They had been to 17 countries and traveled for many days. They had just returned to Sea City less than 2 days ago. He didn't know that the twins were kidnapped, so when he heard that the twins might be here, he was quite happy. Yes, they are twins. But only one came today. Only one. Let me see. Is it Pudding or Little Bean? Tang Chuan gossiped as he walked over with his female companion. Pudding had just finished throwing the last ball in her hand. It was beautiful, applause sounded from all around. Qi Ning squatted down and wiped the sweat off Pudding's forehead with a tissue. Then, she opened a bottle of mineral water and fed it to Pudding. Thank you, Auntie. Pudding reached out her chubby little hand and pinched Qi Ning's face. Tang Chuan pushed through the crowd and walked in. Before he could say anything, he froze. This was because he saw a beautiful woman in a pink sports t-shirt and black sweatpants. She was squatting on the ground and feeding Pudding water. Her body was perfect, with big breasts and a small waist. Most importantly, her face was beautiful. She was so beautiful that she only had light makeup on her face. When she smiled, her eyes turned into crescents and the corners of her mouth turned sweet. Although he only saw the side of his face, Tang Chuan's heart skipped a beat. Isn't this Uncle Tang? Hi, long time no see. Pudding turned her head to look at Tang Chuan and greeted him with a smile. Hearing Pudding's greeting, Qi Ning turned her head and glanced at him. She didn't recognize him, so she turned back. For the first time, Tang Chuan realized that he was so nervous that he couldn't even speak properly. What? Is it because we haven't seen each other for so long that you can't even speak properly? Pudding laughed. You're so eloquent. You must be Pudding. Tang Chuan came to his senses and walked over with a smile. Of course, Pudding said proudly. Where's Little Bean? Why didn't she come out to play with you? Tang Chuan was puzzled. She's at home. There are guests at home, and you know that my sister doesn't like to exercise. Haha, you're right. Hey, Pudding, who's this little beauty? Introduce her. Tang Chuan's eyes never left Qin Ning as he spoke. Qin Ning didn't care. She kept her head down and wiped the sweat off her hands with a tissue. My aunt, Qin Ning. Your aunt. You have an aunt. How come I didn't know? Tang Chuan's interest was piqued when he heard that Qin Ning was Qin Chu's sister. There are a lot of things you don't know. You're not as close to us as handsome Su is, Pudding said proudly. Ah, okay. But speaking of which, is everyone in the Qin family this good-looking? Tang Chuan was definitely a rich young master who had seen all kinds of beauties since he was young. But he had to admit that he was still shocked when he first saw Qin Ning. There was no need to say much about Qin Ning's delicate features, but her unique temperament made it easy for people to be mesmerized. Uncle Tang, you're so direct with your compliments. Don't tell me you like my aunt. Pudding stared at Tang Chuan and asked directly. Chapter 2038. Ahem, ahem. Tang Chuan coughed violently. Pudding, don't talk nonsense. Qin Ning pinched her niece's cheeks in embarrassment. I'm serious, Auntie. Look at Uncle Tang. He's handsome and rich, but he's always flirting with girls since he was young. He's an expert at flirting with girls. A naive girl like you who has no experience in love is no match for him. Let's go. Pudding pulled Qin Ning away. Tang Chuan immediately stopped them from accepting him. Hey, Pudding, calm down. Don't be in such a hurry to leave. I understand that you don't like me, but you have to give the pretty girl next to you a chance to get to know me. My auntie doesn't need to know you because nothing will happen between you and her. There will only be accidents. Tang Chuan was speechless, Qin Ning was speechless, plus, you have a girl next to you and you're flirting with her. You don't have any SCI. Pudding glanced at the pretty girl next to Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan immediately lowered his head and said something to the girl. Although the girl looked reluctant, she still turned around and left. Pudding, it's rare to see you. How about I treat you to Haagen-Dazs? Tang Chuan smiled. You're that generous. Pudding looked up. I've always been generous, so you still want to flirt with my auntie, right? Pudding returned to the topic. Tang Chuan was about to answer. Pudding continued aggressively, don't tell me you're not. A man who doesn't even have the guts to tell the truth is the most useless. Fuck, you little brat, are you going to sue me? I'm not afraid of that. I'll tell you the truth. Why? I just want to flirt with your auntie. Tang Chuan's words made Qin Ning speechless. Qin Ning didn't even know who this person was or where he came from. Why was he talking to Pudding about flirting with her? Qin Ning thought that this was ridiculous. Sir, my niece was just joking. Please don't mind her, Qin Ning explained with a smile. She was embarrassed. Beautiful lady, I'm serious. I'm not joking. I really do like you. Qin Ning, so. Qin Ning was dumbfounded. So, I want to ask you a question. Tang Chuan looked at Qin Ning mysteriously. Ask away. Do you believe in love at first sight? Tang Chuan asked in an emotional tone. Qin Ning didn't know how to answer. Stop, let me interrupt. I've never thought of love at first sight as love. Instead, I think love at first sight is about the face. As long as you're good-looking and stunning enough, you have the capital to make people fall in love with you at first sight, right? So, can I take it that you're attracted to my aunt's good looks, Uncle Tang? And then shamelessly flirt with her. Pudding analyzed calmly. Yes, you're right. You can put it that way, Tang Chuan admitted shamelessly. Then I'm sorry. You don't have a chance. My aunt has already been booked, Pudding said proudly. Booked? Who? Who in Sea City dares to steal someone from Mr. Tang? Are they tired of living? Tang Chuan was irritated. He hadn't liked someone at first sight for so many years. The little girl was already taken. He was very upset. It's good that you're confident. But do you think you can win against handsome Su? Pudding smiled evilly. Lord Su. Damn. No way. Tang Chuan was not willing to accept this cruel reality, so he cursed out loud. Pudding. Qi Ning didn't want Pudding to continue. After all, she and Su Yu hadn't even started dating yet. Was it really okay to spread rumors like this? Would Su Yu be disgusted? Auntie, don't be afraid. I did leave you with handsome Su from the beginning. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Lord Su agreed. Tang Chuan obviously didn't believe Pudding. Chapter 2039. Of course I'll agree. Pudding tried to beat around the bush. I don't believe you. Don't lie to me. Pudding, I'm telling you, lying kids get spanked. Tang Chuan and Su Yu were so close that there was no way he didn't know that Su Yu had a new girlfriend. Plus, Su Yu was deeply in love with Huamin, so he didn't believe that Su Yu would fall in love with Qin Chu's little sister and have to call Huamin sister-in-law. No matter how dumb he was, he should be able to understand something like this. Although this is just my personal opinion and they haven't met yet, I'll try my best to set them up. So, Uncle Tang, you don't have to get involved. Go on with your girl. Then, Pudding grabbed Qin Ning's hand and walked out. Qin Ning felt very embarrassed and kept her head down. When she walked past Tang Chuan, she covered half of her face. Tang Chuan finally realized that the twins wanted to set Su Yu up with this girl. No wonder, it seemed like he had to go to Lord Su's house tonight and talk to Lord Su. At the same time, at Southside Recuperation Center, when Huamin came out of the operating room, it was already 5 p.m. Sun Dehai's mother was seriously ill and had been in a small hospital for a long time, so the chances of surgery weren't high. Several neurosurgery department directors invited Huamin to participate in the surgery. In the end, the surgery was a success. When Huamin came out of the operating room, it was already 6 p.m. She was tired and hungry, but she was still very happy. It had been a long time since she felt like a workaholic. She even took the time to post a selfie on her WeChat with a white coat and black-rimmed glasses. She wrote, "Today was a busy day, and I'm thankful that I'm back in the past. Zhu Lingling, Dr. Hua is mighty and domineering. Jiang Shaowei, hug me to sleep, thank you. Jixin, sis, you're the most beautiful angel in white." Huamin replied to Jixin, "White angel is a nurse. I'm a doctor, okay. Ni Yang, sis, all the best. Take care of yourself." Su Yu just silently gave a thumbs up because he didn't know what to say. If he said too much, he was afraid that everyone would think too much. If she said too little, she was afraid that Huamin would feel that she was alienating herself, so she just gave him a like. It had been a long time since he had seen Huamin in a white lab coat. When Su Yu saw this photo, he actually felt excited. In his mind, he even recalled the first time he had met Huamin. At that time, he was still the insufferably arrogant young master of the Su family, an arrogant and irritable patient. At that time, she was still a fledgling doctor. She was barbaric and domineering, making Su Yu suffer all day long. Now that so many things had happened, Huamin still could not forget his original intention, let go of everything, and go back to being a doctor with a peace of mind. He had to admit that this woman was very open-minded. Chin Chu commented below, Dr. Hua, thank you for your hard work. I'll be at the door. You can come out when you're done. I'll take you to dinner. Wow, honey, you're here. I'll be right out. See you in a bit. The person above me is showing off their love again. It's so annoying. My stinky police officer is still working overtime. He won't even call me. Zhu Lingling was jealous. Huamin took off his lab coat and put on a wine-red cape and a white hat. He looked very cute. When she walked out, she immediately saw Chin Chu's Maybach parked in the most obvious spot. Mr. Chin, how long have you been here? Huamin knocked on the car window. Chapter 2040. I just got here. You didn't come back, so I called home to tell you that you didn't come back. I knew you were working overtime. What are we going to eat? Huamin got into the passenger seat and asked excitedly. How about Oxan's ramen? Chin Chu tilted his head and looked at her with a smile. That's awesome, honey, I love you. Huamin happily kissed Chin Chu on the cheek. Chin Chu smiled. Love isn't something you say, you have to do it. He thought that after saying this, Huamin would cover her face and blush. To his surprise, Huamin generously retorted, okay, let's have car sex, come on. Car sex. This time, it was Mr. Chin's turn to be speechless. What's wrong? Are you scared? Huamin asked. Scared? Why would I be? Madam, you must be joking. What I mean is, I didn't think that Madam would still be in the mood after working all day. If I knew we were going to have car sex, would have driven an SUV. After all, this car is too small and can't stretch out. I can't unlock too many new positions. Unlock new positions. Okay, Mr. Chin, you win. Huamin wanted to be calm. She wanted to see who was more perverted than Mr. Chin, but she didn't need to. It was obvious that she wasn't good enough. He had been defeated so easily. Along the way, Huamin listened to the soft music and suddenly felt that life was so beautiful. Honey, are you tired today? Yeah, I did surgery on Sun Dahai's mother this afternoon. I really couldn't take it. I haven't held a scalpel in a while. How was it? Was the surgery successful? Not bad. As for the rest of the treatment, it depends on the patient's physical fitness and willpower. Awesome, I'll give you a thumbs up. Chin Chu really liked Huamin's attitude when she was working seriously. The two drove for about 20 minutes and arrived at the alley behind Second High. Many students were eating Oxan's ramen at this time. It was just before the evening self-study session. Boss, 2 bowls of ramen. Chin Chu walked in and found a seat. The two of them sat facing each other and looked at the furnishings that had not changed over the years, as well as the bright second high school. Instantly, he felt as if he had transmigrated. Mr. Chin, Mrs. Chin. You're here. Where are the children? The owner was very familiar with their family. Huamin smiled. The kids aren't here. We haven't eaten yet after work, so we passed by. You are really lucky. These 2 children are very smart and sensible. The boss praised. Huamin smiled and said no more. Mo Shui came looking for me today. Chin Chu recalled what happened during the day and chatted with Huamin. Mo Shui. Why is she looking for you? Huamin was stunned. He said it's a collaboration. She wants to work with you to deal with Wasichen. Huamin immediately understood Mo Shue's intentions. Qin Chu nodded. This woman really changes her mind faster than flipping through a book. Ha! She used to say how much she loved him, but now that he's down, she wants to hit him when he's down. She has the Xiang family behind her, right? Why would she want to work with us? Isn't that unnecessary? Although the Xiang family is powerful, it's not enough to shake Hua Xiqian's foundation. She knows about the grudge between me and Hua Xiqian, so she wants to persuade me to work with her. It seems like this time, she wants to kill Hua Xiqian as well, Qin Chu analyzed. Huamin shook his head. That's not necessarily true. Mo Shui is very fickle. Maybe she and Hua Xiqian are just putting on a show. We shouldn't trust her. Even if she provides us with evidence, we don't know if it's true. Huamin hated Mo Shui, so he strongly doubted her character. Yeah, I refused. Even if she really wants to work with me, I won't agree. I don't need anyone's help. Plus, I don't think anyone can deal with Hua Xiqian other than me. Mr. Qin turned on his Tsundere mode again. Hey, honey, look who's there. Huamin suddenly saw a luxury car parked outside. Huamin was surprised to see the person who got out of the car. She patted Qin Chu and pointed outside. Chapter 2041. Qin Chu looked in the direction that Huamin was pointing and saw a man and a woman getting out of a black Range Rover. The man was Wei Dong, whom Huamin hadn't seen in a long time. He was Qin Chu and Huamin's classmate. Huamin also knew the woman. She was a girl named Shi Hong from the class next door. She was the prettiest girl in the class next door back in the day. She was very pretty, and now she looked very fashionable and beautiful. She was wearing a white mink coat and had a great figure. Wei Dong hugged the woman's shoulder intimately. They got out of the car and walked towards Oaxayan's ramen. However, when Wei Dong saw Qin Chu and Huamin sitting inside, he was stunned. You guys are eating here too? Wei Dong was a little embarrassed. He didn't expect to see his classmates here, so he didn't know how to react. Yeah. Qin Chu didn't say anything, and Huamin nodded to avoid awkwardness. Oh, then you guys eat. I'll just walk around with my friend. Wei Dong was a little embarrassed as he turned around and left with the woman. The woman whispered, Who is he? Do you know him? Huamin, Qin Chu. You don't know him. Wei Dong lowered his voice. Qin Chu. Huamin, oh my god. When the woman heard that he was the most famous person in school, she immediately turned around to take a second look. Why are they together? Huamin felt that it was very strange. What's wrong? That Qi Hong. I heard from Lingling that she's been married for a few years. She married into a county under our jurisdiction. I heard that the man's father is the county mayor, and his family is quite powerful. I didn't hear anything about divorce, so why is she together with Wei Dong? Huamin muttered to himself. Who said that you have to divorce to be together? Honey, you're still so innocent. I know a little about Wei Dong. Something happened to his family a while ago, and he ran away for a while. Now that he's back in the game, someone must have helped him. Maybe it was Qi Hong who pulled the strings. Men and women don't always get together for love. Mian, you're always thinking too highly of things, but how can there be so many beautiful things in this world? Qin Chu's understanding of human nature, so he calmly analyzed the situation. Huamin suddenly understood. If that's the case, then it makes sense. There was a time when Wei Dong wanted to borrow money from me, but I didn't lend it to him. Later on, he hated me because of that, and now it's very awkward when we meet. That's the right thing to do. Wei Dong, it's better not to interact with him. I don't like how he conducts himself. Chin Chu's opinion of Wei Dong had always been bad. Previously, he pitted Huamin for a long time, and even threatened Huamin to get engaged to him with the money he used to pay for Jixin's surgery. When Chin Chu found out about it, he immediately stepped in and suppressed Wei Dong's thoughts. From then on, Wei Dong never dared to mention it again. It was just a small interlude, and Huamin and Chin Chu continued eating and chatting. Inside the Land Rover, the woman named Shi Hong deliberately teased, "You mentioned Huamin, I remember now. Isn't she the cold goddess of your class? Didn't you chase after her with all your might? How come you didn't end up with her? Huamin is never short of admirers." When will it ever be my turn? Wei Dong laughed. "Oh, you're so jealous." Shi Hong pouted. Wei Dong immediately reached out and touched her chin. "No one can compare to you. Baby, you're still the most beautiful. You know how to make me happy." On the other side, after Siu got off work, Tang Chuan hurriedly drove to his private mansion. Lord Su, come out, it's urgent." Tang Chuan was in a hurry. Su Yu had just taken off his jacket when he turned around. "What?" Chapter 2042. Lord Su, do you know Chin Chu's little sister? Tang Chuan couldn't wait to ask. Chin Chu's little sister? You mean Chin Ning? Su Yu looked at him in confusion. Oh. So that girl's name is Chin Ning. Tang Chuan smiled like a love-struck fool. It made Su Yu want to slap him. Why are you smiling like an idiot? How do you know Chin Ning? Su Yu took out 2 cans of Coke from the fridge. He handed one to Tang Chuan and opened the other for himself. Then, he sat down on the sofa and picked up the remote control to play some soft music. Chin Chu has such a beautiful little sister. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You're such a bad buddy, aren't you? Tang Chuan complained. I didn't notice before. If it weren't for Pudding and Little Bean talking to me about their auntie, I really wouldn't have known. Su Yu told him the truth. Don't you think? Chin Ning is super beautiful. Her face, her body, and her proportions are. Tang Chuan became more and more excited as he spoke. When did you see her? Su Yu asked calmly when he saw the love-struck look on Tang Chuan's face. Today, at the bowling alley. Pudding was bowling with her. Oh my God. I was shocked the moment I saw them. Did you know that? She's a pure European beauty. She's clean and beautiful with light makeup. Her body is perfect. She's got big boobs and a big butt. She must have felt good. Fine. Don't give me that useless crap. If you want to date her, you can't date her. Su Yu warned. What? You like her? Tang Chuan asked tentatively. Phew. What do you mean I like her? I don't even know her that well. I just don't think she's an outsider. She's Chin Chu's little sister and Pudding and Little Bean's auntie. It's not good for you to date her. Just tell me if you want to date her or not. Don't give me that useless crap. Tang Chuan took a big gulp of Coke and asked seriously. Are you kidding me? Why would I date her? Su Yu was confused. I heard from Pudding that she wants to set you up with her. Tang Chuan smirked. You believe a kid's words. Are you a fucking 3-year-old? Su Yu cursed at Tang Chuan. So young Master Su, are you saying, you're not interested in Chin Ning anymore? It's not your cup of tea, is it? Tang Chuan's voice was tinged with excitement. Su Yu didn't even pay attention to Tang Chuan's mind. Young Master Su, can you be serious? It's related to my marriage. Tang Chuan was anxious when he saw Su Yu's nonchalant attitude. I'm serious. I'm not interested in her. She's really not my type, okay? How pretty she is has nothing to do with me, okay? Su Yu was annoyed by Tang Chuan. Great, then I'm going to start dating her. Tang Chuan showed a proud expression. Do whatever you want. If you can date her. Su Yu didn't think Qin Ning was that easy to date. He advised Tang Chuan not to be too perfect. Hee, don't worry. Leave it to my dad. By the way, Lord Su, do you believe in love at first sight? Tang Chuan asked this question for the second time today. No, I don't. I believe in love over time, Su Yu answered honestly. You're right. Love over time. Tang Chuan nodded in agreement. Fuck. That's not what I meant. You're so fucking dirty. Su Yu thought he was very innocent and his topic was beautiful. However, in the mouth of the king of filth, Tang Chuan, everything beautiful instantly changed. Ha, I'm just teasing you. I just wanted to tell you that I like Qin Ning. I fell in love with her at first sight. Then it's no use telling me. You should tell Qin Ning. Su Yu wasn't surprised. Tang Chuan could change more than 10 women in a month. So, Su Yu didn't want to say too much to a playboy like him. Lord Su, give me Qin Ning's WeChat. I'll add her. Tang Chuan took out his phone, full of anticipation. Chapter 2043. Qin Ning's WeChat. I really don't have it. Su Yu really didn't have Qin Ning's WeChat. They really didn't know each other well. Why did it seem like the whole world knew what he and Qin Ning were talking about? In fact, there really wasn't anything between them. If you don't believe me, give it to me. Bro, right? Tang Chuan was really anxious. Su Yu took out his phone, unlocked it, and threw it over. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Tang Chuan picked up Su Yu's phone and immediately opened his WeChat contact list. Sure enough, Qin Ning's profile picture wasn't on it. Most importantly, Su Yu only had 3 women on his WeChat. They were Huamin, Pudding, and Little Bean. He didn't even add Jian Tong and the other female artists on WeChat. It was obvious that Su Yu's temper was really, fuck. You really don't have it, do you believe me now? Su Yu reached out to take back his phone. However, Tang Chuan dodged it. Give me your phone. Hee, no rush. Wait, I'll use it. Then, Tang Chuan picked up his phone and sent a WeChat message to Little Bean. He wrote, send me Qin Ning's WeChat. I'll add her. He was supposed to send it to Pudding, but Tang Chuan thought that Pudding was too smart. If he exposed himself, it would be over. In the end, he realized that he had underestimated Little Bean. Little Bean didn't completely believe him either. Instead, she sent a voice message saying, Are you handsome, Su? Tang Chuan immediately replied, Of course. Then say something for me. Little Bean ordered. Tang Chuan was speechless. He picked up his phone and showed it to Su Yu. Look, these two are so smart. I purposely chose Little Bean, who is not very smart. I didn't expect it to work. Quick, help me send a voice message. Su Yu rolled his eyes at Tang Chuan and said, Who said Little Bean isn't smart? She may look dumb and cute, but she's just as smart as Pudding. You're really giving me trouble. Although Su Yu didn't say anything, he still replied to Little Bean with a voice message, Little Bean, it's me. Handsome Su, why do you suddenly want my auntie's WeChat? Are you in love with her? No, I just thought that since we're friends, we should add each other, Suyut said perfunctorily. Oh, I see. I thought it was Uncle Tang who was threatening you, Little Bean mumbled to herself. Not only Suyu, but Tang Chuan was also shocked. Did this little girl have some kind of supernatural ability? How did she know? Why do you say that? Suyu still replied with a voice message. Because my sister said that when she went bowling with my auntie today, she bumped into Uncle Tang. When he saw my auntie, he looked at her like a fly staring at a rotten egg. Oh, no, that's not the right analogy. It was like a dung beetle looking at a dung bowl. I suspect that he wants to hit on my auntie, so I'm wondering if he used your phone to trick me. After hearing Little Bean's words, Tang Chuan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He thought to himself, a dung beetle looking at a dung ball is worse than a fly staring at a rotten egg. What kind of words was this kid using? It was driving him crazy. Suyu tried hard not to laugh and asked in all seriousness, if Uncle Tang saw your auntie, would you guys agree? Of course not. Handsome Su, do you even need to ask? Little Bean answered without hesitation. Why not? Your Uncle Tang is handsome, rich, and considerate. He's much more understanding than I am, Suyu teased Little Bean. Chapter 2044. While Suyu was praising Tang Chuan was counting his years as he listened to Suyu. From time to time, he would play along and stroke his hair. However, when he heard Little Bean's funny reply, he couldn't stay calm anymore. Little Bean said, Handsome Su, you don't have to explain for Uncle Tang. After knowing him for so long, my sister and I have always thought that he's just a handsome, rich, and stud horse. Okay, Little Bean, don't say that again. You're not a kid. Your mommy will go crazy if she finds out. Suyu almost peed his pants from laughing. What does that have to do with my mommy? Don't change the topic. We're talking about Uncle Tang. Could it be that I'm wrong? Look at him, he's so young but he looks like he has weak kidneys. It's all because he's been flirting with too many girls. How can our auntie, a pure and innocent girl, be with someone like him? It'll ruin her life. Little Bean said reasonably. Suyu laughed so hard that tears almost came out of his eyes. He lay on the sofa and laughed hysterically. What are you laughing at? Look at this little bastard. He's going to pay with his life for insulting me. This was the first time Tang Chuan heard the twins talk about him like that. He felt like he had nothing left to live for. Then why should I give it to you? It's because you're too ridiculous. Suyu said with a smile. You've known me for so many years, don't you know me? I'm known as a playboy, but most of the time, I'm just putting on a show. I haven't really slept with anyone. I'm not a stud horse, and my kidneys aren't that good. Otherwise, I would have been impotent a long time ago. Tang Chuan felt like he had been wronged. The twins had a bad impression of him, which led to his impotence. Now, he had no hope of falling in love with their auntie. Cut the crap. Give me Qin Ning's WeChat, Tang Chuan urged Suyu. Are you serious? If you want to flirt with girls, then forget it. Qin Ning's identity is really unsuitable. Plus, you might not be able to handle it. Suyu felt that if Tang Chuan wanted to play, he shouldn't look for Qin Ning. If Huamin knew that he was flirting with his sister-in-law, wouldn't he scold him to death? I'm not joking. I'm not just playing around. Okay. Tang Chuan repeated. Suyu had no choice but to ask shamelessly, Little Bean, can you send me a WeChat message now? Sure, wait a moment. Then, Little Bean took out her phone and looked mysteriously at Qin Ning, who had just come out of the shower. Auntie. Handsome Su asked for your WeChat ID, should I give it to him? Aw. Did Suyu ask for my WeChat? Qi Ning felt a little embarrassed. Aha. Little Bean smirked. I'll give it to him then. Qi Ning didn't know if it was because the twins had talked too much about Suyu, but she subtly changed her mind. Or maybe it was because Qin Chu said yesterday that they weren't suitable for each other that made her rebellious. Anyway, she was actually looking forward to it. Would there be a different story between her and Suyu? After Qi Ning nodded, Little Bean immediately sent Qi Ning's WeChat ID to Suyu's phone. Suyu glanced at it and symbolically added it. Then, he immediately forwarded the card to Tang Chuan. Okay, I send it to you, haha, thank you, Lord Su. Thank you. Then, Tang Chuan immediately picked up his phone, put on his jacket, and left. Fuck. You're leaving after using me. Suyu watched as Tang Chuan walked out. What else can I do? Should I stay the night with you? Lord Su. Tang Chuan smirked. Chapter 2045. Go away, don't disgust me. I'm going to bed, I'm too tired. Suyu didn't want to argue with him. He picked up a pillow and lay down on the sofa, watching TV. After leaving Suyu's mansion, Tang Chuan drove back to his house and turned on his phone eagerly. Sure enough, Qi Ning accepted his friend request. Qi Ning was confused. Little Bean said that Suyu wanted to add her, but now there were two more people who wanted to add her. Because Suyu's profile picture wasn't his, she wasn't sure which one was. She added both of them. After adding them, she checked her WeChat moments and saw that one was Suyu and the other was the guy she saw at the bowling alley today. Hi, Qi Ning, I'm Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan took the initiative to talk to her. Qi Ning, hi. Tang Chuan, what are you doing? Have you eaten? Qi Ning, I have. Tang Chuan, okay, I wanted to treat you to something good. This isn't your first time in Sea City, right? Qi Ning, no. Tang Chuan, you've been living in the States all this time. Qi Ning, yes. No matter what Tang Chuan asked, Qi Ning would answer obediently. However, she didn't say much, which made her seem distant. Tang Chuan didn't think this tactic worked, so he immediately asked, ever since Wamin gave birth to the twins, Suyu and I have been very close to them. We're really close to them. Oh, really? I've always heard them mention Suyu's name, Qi Ning recalled. Is it because I'm more handsome than Lord Su? That's why they get shy when they mention me, Tang Chuan said narcissistically. Qi Ning, how did you get my WeChat? Qi Ning didn't forget to ask. Oh, that Lord Su gave it to me. Tang Chuan lied without blushing. Suyu gave it to you. Qi Ning was a little disappointed. She thought that Suyu was interested in her. Now, it seemed that he was trying to give her WeChat to this man named Tang Chuan. For a moment, Qi Ning's heart sank. She looked at Suyu's WeChat profile picture and sent him a WeChat message. You and Little Bean asked for my WeChat number because you wanted to give it to that person. Suyu was watching TV when he received a WeChat message. He looked down and saw that it was from Qi Ning. He was quite surprised. He's the one who kept bothering me and asking for your number. Oh. Qi Ning saw that Suyu had acquiesced and suddenly didn't know what to say. Are you busy? Qi Ning asked after a while. Watching TV, Suyu replied. Oh, take a look then. The more they talked about this topic, the more awkward it would be. So, Qi Ning decided to stop talking to Suyu. She was no longer interested in answering Tang Chuan's passionate questions. I'm a little tired, I'm going to bed now. Her polite and courteous words made Tang Chuan give up on the idea of continuing the conversation. Qi Ning dried her hair in the bathroom and came downstairs in a bathrobe. The whole family was downstairs, either watching TV or playing with their phones. "Auntie, are you in a bad mood?" Pudding looked up at Qi Ning. "Of course not, I'm in a good mood. I feel like you have something on your mind." Pudding felt that Qi Ning's mood was a little different from usual. "You. Little girl, you're too sensitive." "I'm fine." Qi Ning went downstairs and touched Pudding's face. Pudding leaned over mysteriously. "Auntie, did you talk to Handsome Sue on WeChat?" "Oh, we talked for a bit," Qi Ning told the truth. How was it? How was it? Were there any sparks?" Pudding continued to gossip. "No sparks, but I was a little angry." Qi Ning smiled. "Angry? Did you fight with Handsome Sue?" Pudding was surprised. Chapter 2046. No. I don't even know him that well. Why would we fight? Qi Ning chuckled. At this moment, Pudding heard them and said loudly, "Auntie, you and Handsome Sue added each other on WeChat. Congratulations." Her voice was loud, so both Qin Chu and Huamin heard her. "Ning and Suyu added each other on WeChat." Huamin was surprised. She didn't know that the twins wanted to set Qin Ning and Suyu up. She just thought it was too sudden. Qin Chu glanced at Pudding. "Pudding, your auntie is an adult. She can handle her own personal matters. You and your sister shouldn't get involved." "Daddy, we didn't. We respect auntie's wishes." Pudding argued. "Ning, are you interested in Suyu?" Huamin asked. Qi Ning's face turned red in front of so many people. "Mommy, aren't you being too direct?" Pudding complained. Huamin smiled. "We're all family. There's nothing to hide. Suyu is a good guy. But are you sure he's your type?" Huamin knew Suyu too well. So, like Qin Chu, she didn't think they would be a good match. Although both of them were excellent, if they ended up together, it would be hard to tell what would happen. Plus, Suyu was rumored to have a girlfriend, Jian Tong. So, Huamin didn't want Qin Ning to get involved. He was afraid that Jian Tong would set her eyes on him and cause some trouble. "Sis-in-law, I'm not really interested. I'm not that close with Suyu. I've only met him a few times and I think he's a good guy. We're just friends." "Don't think too much, really," Qin Ning explained awkwardly. "It's okay. We understand. It's good for young people to make more friends. If you're interested, you can take the initiative. As long as the other person is a good person, your brother and I will support you. But Suyu, forget it. You two can meet as friends first. You'll slowly understand what kind of person he is. I won't say much." Huamin didn't want to interfere with Qin Ning's logic. "I'll say it again. Pudding and Little Bean, don't mess with your auntie." Qin Chu realized that his daughter's trying to set Pudding and Suyu first. To be honest, he didn't agree to it. Qin Chu knew how deep Suyu's feelings for Huamin were. He didn't think that Suyu would easily accept Qin Ning and face Huamin in the future. He was also afraid that Qin Ning would be hurt if she didn't get a response from Suyu. After all, she had no experience in love. "Daddy, we didn't. Also, you seem to have a problem with Handsome Sue. Is it because you two used to be rivals in love?" Little Bean said without thinking. Qin Ning finally understood the key point. She looked at Qin Chu and then at Huamin in surprise. She suddenly remembered that Suyu had liked her sister-in-law for many years. He was the man who would replace her brother if he didn't come. She actually forgot about such an important thing. All she thought about was how outstanding Suyu was. She didn't realize that the person he loved was her sister-in-law, Huamin. You two, don't talk nonsense. Huamin was a little angry. Although Qin Chu didn't care about Suyu's feelings for her, it was still very unpleasant for the child to suddenly say something like that. Pudding, little bean, this has nothing to do with whether Daddy is biased against Suyu or not. Daddy is looking at the pros and cons from your auntie's perspective. After all, you two are still children. A lot of things aren't that simple. Qin Chu explained patiently so that his daughter wouldn't misunderstand. Huamin was just about to scold his daughter when his phone rang. Mian, I have something to tell you. Are you free to talk now? Jiang Xiaowei asked mysteriously when Huamin picked up the phone. Chapter 2047. Okay, go ahead. Slightly. Huamin could sense the caution in Jiang Xiaowei's voice. Then, he picked up his cell phone and walked upstairs, avoiding his family downstairs. Mian, are you and Hui Yanyan close? Jiang Xiaowei asked. Hui Yanyan and I have never been close. You know, I helped her twice when she was bullied. Then, when my daughter was kidnapped, it was thanks to Hui Yanyan that Pudding was able to escape and inform my husband. She's still recovering from her injuries, and our daughter is still at home. To be honest, I'm very grateful to her, Huamin said honestly. Oh, I see. Jiang Xiaowei looked thoughtful. What's wrong? Slightly. Huamin asked. You know my sister-in-law, right? Wei Ying. Huamin raised an eyebrow. Yeah, she's probably going to get a divorce soon. Our family is in chaos. My husband has been coming back to the Wei family's mansion for meetings every day, and he's been telling me this and that. It's giving me a headache. Wei Ying is getting a divorce. Are you serious? She just got married not long ago, and she doesn't have kids. In Huamin's memory, the marriage alliance between the Wei family and the Shen family had caused a sensation in the city and attracted attention from all walks of life. Wei Ying and Shen Mingxi were called the golden couple of high society. One was so handsome that even gods would envy, and the other was so beautiful that she could topple a city. She had thought that this was a marriage that couldn't be more stable, but she didn't expect that in less than 3 years, it would change beyond recognition. It's because they don't have kids that they want a divorce. If they had a baby, they wouldn't have. Jiang Xiaowei sighed. Then who's infertile? That's why. Huamin's thought process was simpler. No, both of them have been checked. There's no problem. It's just that. Jiang Xiaowei stuttered. Big sister, don't tell me. I'm dying of anxiety. If you have something to say, say it quickly. I heard that the Shen family's boy doesn't really touch my sister-in-law. They rarely sleep on the same bed. My sister-in-law is very angry from staying in an empty room. That's why this incident blew up. They quarreled and in the end, they asked for a divorce. I don't think so. Wei Ying was unruly, but didn't she say she loved young Master Shin? How did it end up like this? Huamin felt a little regretful. I heard from my husband that this incident seems to be related to Hui Yanyan. It has something to do with Hui Yanyan. Are you serious? Huamin was a little scared. Yeah, Wei Ying cried her eyes out at home. She kept saying that she wouldn't let that vixen Hui Yanyan off the hook. My husband came back and told me about the situation. I think you might know something. Do you think Hui Yanyan and young Master Shen really have something going on? Really? In terms of looks and wealth, I don't think even Hui Yanyan can compare to Ying. Plus, Hui Yanyan is a down-and-out young woman with a child. Young Master Shen wouldn't do something like that, right? Jiang Xiaowei found it unbelievable. Speaking of which, I remember something, Huamin said calmly. What is it? That day, when I went to the hospital to visit Hui Yanyan, I saw young Master Shen coming to visit her with flowers in his hand. I don't know if there's anything going on between them, but I'm sure they do. Otherwise, with young Master Shen's personality, he wouldn't have taken the initiative to visit a woman. Another time, a long time ago, I ran into some of your sister-in-law's best friends in a shopping mall. They pulled Hui Yanyan's hair and hit her. I think they found some clues. But I don't think it's true. Maybe young Master Shen took pity on Hui Yanyan. After all, she went from being a rich young lady to a down-and-out young woman. It's quite sad. So, if you ask me, I can't say. After all, I didn't see what happened between them with my own eyes. Min didn't hide anything from Jiang Xiaowei. He took the initiative to tell Jiang Xiaowei everything he saw and heard. Chapter 2048. You have a point. Anyways, they're definitely going to divorce. The Wei family is in chaos right now. You know, once the marriage is dissolved, the cooperation between the two families will be dissolved as well. Yeah, it's a big loss. Do you know who proposed the divorce? Huamin was curious. He had only met Shen Mingxi a few times, but he had heard about him a lot. He was friends with Su Yu and had helped Huamin raise money, so they knew each other. Huamin didn't know what the quiet man was thinking. But if the two of them divorced, the Wei family's business would be affected. Xiao Wei was the daughter-in-law of the Wei family, so it was normal for her to be worried. Of course it was Shen Mingxi who proposed it. Ying would never divorce him. She loves him so much and has had a crush on him for so many years. Okay, that's a tragedy. That kid has made up his mind. He gave Ying quite a bit of alimony and demanded a lot of compensation from the Wei family. Even though the Shen family didn't agree, they can't control their son right now. That kid is in charge of the Shen family, so the elders in the Shen family can't do anything about it. However, my sister-in-law has been causing trouble at home for a few days now. I think she might go and cause trouble for Hui Yanyan. If you have the chance to see Hui Yanyan, you should tell her to be careful. After all, it's too easy for my aunt to deal with her now. I know Hui Yanyan helped you this time, so I want to remind her out of kindness. Jiang Xiaowei knew Wei Ying and knew she wouldn't give up so easily. Yeah, I'll talk to Hui Yanyan about it. Thank you, Wei Wei. Hey, you don't have to be so courteous with me. When are you off these few days? Let's get together and ask Lingling and her son out. We can go to the hot springs together and play with the children. Yunchu hasn't seen the twins in a long time and misses them too. Aren't you afraid that my two she-devils will bully him? Huamin laughed. Love and hate. Jiang Xiaowei joked. Huamin chuckled. After hanging up the phone with Jiang Xiaowei, Huamin returned to his room. Qin Chu also went upstairs to rest. The couple lay down and chatted about their daily life. They talked about the content of Jiang Xiaowei's call. In the other room, Qin Ning wasn't in a good mood the whole night until it was time to sleep. Pudding took the opportunity to sneak into Qin Ning's room. Auntie, is she asleep? Not yet, Qin Ning said listlessly. Is there something on your mind? No. Liar, there is. It's because of handsome Su, right? Pudding could guess what her auntie was thinking. Pudding, please. Don't talk about him all the time. I'm so annoyed. Qin Ning had never been in a relationship before and didn't know what it felt like to like someone. She was just a little annoyed by the subtle changes in her relationship with Su Yu. Auntie, tell me, Are you even a little bit interested in handsome Sue? Pudding gossiped. It doesn't matter even if I am. Sue only loves my sister-in-law. I know that. When she thought about how Sue loved Hwamin for years, Chin Ning felt listless. She didn't have the confidence to make a man who loved another woman for years fall in love with her. Handsome Sue likes my mommy a lot, but that was before. Ever since Daddy came back, he's retired. He won't have any fantasies about my mommy. Handsome Sue is as good as Daddy and I don't want him to be single at this age. That scheming bitch Jian Tong isn't good enough for him, so I've been thinking about finding him a great girlfriend. Auntie, you're that great girl. You guys are a perfect match. Pudding said excitedly. However, at this moment, Chin Ning was no longer in the mood. Chapter 2049. Pudding, I know you're doing this for Auntie's sake. You approve of Auntie's character, but relationships aren't that simple. Just because you think they're compatible doesn't mean they'll be happy together. It's like buying shoes, only the foot knows if they're compatible or not. Suyu might be really good, but I think he... forget it, I'm talking nonsense to a kid like you. Go to sleep, Auntie is going to sleep too. Chi Ning felt like the more she tried to explain, the more confused she became. She didn't think she could out-talk this two-faced Miss Pudding. Therefore, she hurriedly pushed Pudding out of the room. Then, she let out a long sigh. She lay on the big bed and was about to turn over to sleep when her phone rang. She opened it and saw that it was a WeChat transfer from Tang Chuan. The amount was 9,999 yuan. Qi Ning immediately rejected it and ignored Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan wanted to get closer to Qi Ning at home, so he used his trump card to pick up girls. When he didn't know what to say, he would send her a red packet or transfer her money directly. This trick worked every time. Even if she was a rich girl, she would still be happy to see him transfer money. After all, no one hated money, right? However, Qi Ning rejected it within a second, which made him feel a strong sense of defeat. The next morning, before Hwamin went to work, he drove to the first hospital. In the ward, Hui Yanyan was able to move around and take care of herself. He talked to Hui Yanyan's doctor and estimated that she could be discharged in 3 days. Yanyan. Hwamin walked over with his bag. Hey. Mian, you're here. Seeing Hwamin, Hui Yanyan was very happy. How are you today? Does it still hurt? Hwamin glanced at her ribs. It doesn't hurt anymore. I can do everything myself. I think I can be discharged today. Hui Yanyan was in good spirits. I can't do it today. I've talked to your doctor. The fastest I can do is in 3 days. Mian, how's Tian Tian at your house? Was she naughty? Did you bully them? Hui Yanyan asked worriedly. No, Tian Tian is very obedient. She plays very well with my two. Don't worry. That's good. Oh right, Mian, I know you have a lot of connections. You're good friends with Chief Gao of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Can you help me? After I get discharged, I want to see C. Hearing Hui Yanyan's words, Hwamin's expression changed slightly. Is it difficult for you? I know. C is at fault and he deserves it, but I still want to see him. You know, he and my mom are my last family in the world. I can't contact my mom in Vietnam, but C is in there. If he needs anything, I want to send him clothes. After all, I'm still his sister. Hui Yanyan lowered her head in shame. Hwamin took a deep breath and said slowly, Yanyan. It's not that I don't want you to see him, but Hwamin paused. He didn't have the heart to continue. What happened to C? Hui Yanyan felt that something was wrong. She looked up at Huamin uneasily. Because you were recovering, I didn't dare to tell you. The truth is, Huasi is already dead. Huamin said word by word. When Hui Yanyan heard this, her entire body froze and her mind went blank. Impossible. I don't believe it, it can't be. Hui Yanyan muttered to herself in a daze. Chapter 2050. Yan, I'm not lying to you. It's true. After all, no one would dare to lie about something like this. Huamin reached out his hand to comfort Hui Yanyan. But how did he die? Wasn't he arrested by the police? He committed suicide in prison. When he was eating, he used a pair of chopsticks and pierced his own throat. I think he probably felt that there was no hope left for him and didn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison. You know, Huasi's crime this time was very serious. If he was sentenced, he would be in prison for at least 20 years. He's almost 30 years old now and will be in his 50s in 20 years. By then, he would have no hope left, but he shouldn't have died so suddenly. Hui Yanyan squatted on the floor, covered her face, and started crying. Also, after he found out that Wan Qingqing was dead, he felt even more hopeless. Huasi seemed to love that woman a lot, Huamin analyzed. That woman is a bad person. She was the one who instigated Si to do all these bad things. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. Although he had a bad temper since he was young, he wasn't completely heartless. I hate that woman to death, but why did Si have to be so stupid? He's not young, he's not even married. He doesn't even have children of his own. If my mom found out, she wouldn't be able to take it, right? Ho ho ho. Hui Yanyan cried sadly. Just then, footsteps came from the door. Huamin looked up and saw Shen Mingxi walking in with a box of food in his hand. It seemed like he was here to deliver food to Hui Yanyan. Behind him was a male assistant from the Shen Corporation. What's wrong? What happened? When Shen Mingxi walked in, he saw Hui Yanyan squatting on the floor and crying. He panicked a little and immediately placed the box of food on the table. Then, he quickly walked over to comfort her. He reached out his hand and helped Hui Yanyan up. Hui Yanyan threw herself into Shen Mingxi's arms. Si is dead. I don't have a brother anymore. Hui Yanyan broke down in tears. Shen Mingxi comforted her gently, which was rare for him. Don't cry. Death might be a good thing for him. Maybe he'd rather die than go to jail for so long. You're still very weak. You have to be strong. Shen Mingxi comforted her for a while until the nurse came over and gave her a sedative. Only then did Hui Yanyan fall asleep. Shen Mingxi glanced at Huamin and asked, "Can we talk outside?" Okay. Huamin nodded. Then, she followed Shen Mingxi to the corridor outside the ward. When can she be discharged? I've asked her doctor. The earliest is 3 days. Is her daughter at your house? Shen Mingxi asked. Yes. When she's discharged from the hospital, I'll send someone to pick up the child. Then, I'll settle the mother and daughter down, so you don't have to worry about anything in the future. Young Master Shen, if you don't mind me asking, what's your relationship with Yanyan? If Jiang Xiaowei hadn't mentioned this yesterday, Huamin wouldn't have thought too much about it and wouldn't have asked so directly. But now, Shen Mingxi was saying that he wanted to take over Hui Yanyan and take care of her in the future. Wasn't this a bit inappropriate? We're friends. But young Master Shen, you have a family now. If you treat Yanyan like this, it'll cause misunderstandings. Your wife, Wei Ying, already gave her a hard time. It's not easy for a woman to raise a child alone. I don't want her to be misunderstood because of you and be called a mistress. If you really want her best, you should consider her situation. Don't you think so? Huamin didn't care too much and questioned Shen Mingxi sharply. Wei Ying and I are in the process of getting a divorce. I'll cut ties with her as soon as possible, Shen Mingxi said coldly. Chapter 2051. So, do you want the whole world to know that you divorced Wei Ying because of Hui Yanyan? The Wei family isn't happy about it to begin with. By doing this, you're not protecting her, you're putting her in danger. Huamin analyzed. Shen Mingxi fell silent once again. Perhaps he really did like to do things his own way and didn't care about what others thought. He also neglected how much this matter hurt Hui Yanyan. After being reminded by Huamin, he didn't know what to say. I understand that you want to take care of Yanyan and her daughter, but I don't want them to be hurt by public opinion or actions. The Wei family has always been aggressive, so you should know what to do. This is good for everyone. Yanyan saved my daughter this time, and I'm very grateful to her. If you don't care, I won't ignore it either. I've already arranged a way out for her. Also, Yanyan is very innocent right now. If you really only treat her as a friend, you should make things clear to her. Don't give her too much hope. Otherwise, if she falls for you like she did before, you'll really be in pain together. Huamin's words made Shen Mingxi feel ashamed. He finally understood why Suyu loved this woman so much. She was too smart and calm. He was able to see everything too clearly, too thoroughly. I understand. I'll think about what you said. Thank you. Shen Mingxi thanked Huamin. No need to thank me. I'm just stating the facts, I'm not targeting anyone. Then, Huamin turned around and left the hospital. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, a week had passed. Hui Yanyan was completely discharged from the hospital. That day, Shen Mingxi sent someone to pick up Hui Yanyan's daughter, Tian. Huamin prepared a 2-bedroom apartment for the mother and daughter, but Hui Yanyan didn't move in. She knew that Shen Mingxi had better arrangements. Hui Yanyan, on the other hand, was still immersed in the news of Huaxi's death. Therefore, Huamin didn't continue to disturb her and wanted to give her some time to calm down. Then, the annual Mian Foundation charity night arrived. This was a charity gene that Qin Chu named after Huamin. In the past few years, it had helped many people in need. Children from the mountains, lonely old people, and children with congenital heart disease. All in all, Huamian had been doing this for more than 4 years, and the Mian Foundation had become a famous charity organization in China. That day, the GK Corporation sent out invitations to host a large-scale charity banquet at the Gala Hotel. Of course, the means. Huamian was wearing a simple white evening gown. She held on to Qin Chu's arm and walked into the ballroom amidst the warm applause. They immediately attracted everyone's attention. Wow! President Qin is so handsome in person. Dr. Hua is so elegant too. I can't believe they're so in love with each other. I'm so jealous. Yang Meirong held the twins' hands and also came to the banquet. Ji Xin was busy helping out. The twins were dressed in black and white today. Pudding was dressed like a boy, wearing a black suit and a black top hat. Little Bean was dressed like her mother, wearing a white princess gown and a garland of flowers. They were so beautiful that many reporters took pictures of them. Qin Ning was also dressed in a handsome suit and leather boots. She was very unique but not flashy. Compared to the other women in evening gowns, she had a neutral beauty. Tang Chuan, Su Yu, and Wei Liao came together. As soon as they walked in, they saw Qin Ning with a glass of champagne in her hand. Their eyes lit up. Chapter 2052. Look, that's Qin Ning. She's super hot, isn't she? Tang Chuan pointed at Qin Ning not far away and told Wei Liao. Wei Liao glanced at her and was very calm. She's okay, she's not that beautiful. I think she's slightly prettier than mine. In your eyes, even Shi Diao Chan can't compare to your family, right? Seriously. Tang Chuan couldn't wait to walk over to Qin Ning. Hey, you're super cool today. Tang Chuan looked at Qin Ning and complimented her. Thank you. I have to go see a few clients, excuse me. Qin Ning smiled distantly, then turned around and walked over to a few big clients from Europe and America. Then, she chatted with them in fluent American English. She didn't look like an immature little girl at all. Instead, she exuded the aura of a domineering female CEO, young Master Wei. What do you think? I think Qin Ning is super cool. Look, she can represent the company and talk business with big clients. She speaks fluent English and her movements are extremely elegant. Tang Chuan thought that Qin Ning was full of good points. No matter how he looked at her, she was good, so you didn't comment. He just quietly drank his red wine. Wei Liao couldn't help but laugh. If you think someone is good, you'll praise them to the heavens. She's really good. I'm not praising her, it's the truth. But you don't say, the Qin family's genes are really too strong. I won't talk about Qin Chu so that Lord Su won't feel bad. Look at the twins, they're so beautiful. When they grow up, they'll be amazing. And Qin Ning. I fell in love with her at first sight. Did you know? That feeling. It's just like when you first met sis-in-law. Forget it, you guys wouldn't understand even if I told you guys. Tang Chuan usually wasn't interested in these kinds of dinners. This time, when he found out that Qin Ning was there, he volunteered to come. He even generously prepared to bid for something at the charity banquet and stand out. Actually, it was just to get Qin Ning's attention. Huamin, as the host and the female lead of the Mian Foundation, made an opening speech on the stage. The auction began. At this moment, Hua Xichen arrived. He directly bid 30 million for one of Huamin's calligraphy pieces. Huamin had learned calligraphy for a few days when he was young. Later on, he practiced it on his own. Over the years, he didn't have much time to study it, but fortunately, his writing style was still very free and easy. Those 4 words were, virtuous as water. In fact, the starting price was only 500,000 yuan. After all, Huamin wasn't a famous person. However, to everyone's surprise, Hua Xichen directly offered 30 million yuan. The host personally handed the painting to Hua Xichen. His assistant followed behind him and paid for it with his credit card. He was extremely generous. When Huamin saw Hua Xichen, he was surprised because he didn't expect him to recover so quickly. When Qin Chu saw him, his expression was extremely ugly. After Hua Xichen received the painting, he took a picture with Huamin as usual before getting off the stage. Little sister Mian. I was discharged from the hospital. You didn't even visit me. What a heartless girl, Hua Xichen whispered into Huamin's ear. I don't think we'll have anything to do with each other. President Hua, you're willing to spend so much money to buy the painting and do charity. I really admire you. I still have things to do, you can leave. Hua Mian didn't want to be in too much of a hurry with Hua Xichen, so she found an excuse to leave. Hua Xichen handed the painting in his hand to his assistant behind him. Then, he walked step by step towards Qin Chu with his crutches. Hua Xichen's thighs were stabbed twice by Hua Xi. The injury was very serious, so he had to rely on crutches to walk. This made Qin Chu feel a lot better. After the plane crash, Qin Chu also had to rely on crutches for a while. President Qin. How have you been? Hua Xiqian smiled. Chapter 2053. What goes around comes around. I bet you didn't think this day would come for you. Qin Chu glanced at Hua Xiqian's face. Ha! I didn't think this would happen, but it's a good thing that Hua Xi killed himself. Otherwise, I would have had to arrange for someone to kill him myself. I really didn't think that I would fall so hard. But I'm glad that Mian is fine. Mian will be fine, I'll protect her. President Hua, you don't have to worry about her. Qin Chu said coldly. Hua Xiqian smiled and changed the topic. I heard that bitch Mo Shui came looking for you. What, are you going to team up with me? Do you think I'll work with her? You're just a bunch of trash. I, Qin Chu, don't need anyone to tie me down. I can defeat you fair and square. Really? Now that you mention it, I'm starting to look forward to it. Hua Xiqian continued to laugh arrogantly. Look forward to it. You'll see more and more surprises. Qin Chu sneered and turned to leave. Boss, let's leave Qin Chu alone. Who knows how much information he has? Last time, he exposed Miss Mo's drug abuse and caused our company to lose a lot of money. Hua Xiqian's assistant reminded him. I know what I'm doing. I don't care how much we lose. In my eyes, nothing is more important than her. I actually hope that Qin Chu and I will fight to the death. If I have a chance of winning, maybe. I'll take her away. Hua Xiqian picked up his champagne and drank it all in one gulp. Then, he walked towards the center of the crowd. Hua Mian rarely wore high heels, so she wasn't used to walking for a long time. She felt a sharp pain in her ankle. She slowly walked to the side, put down the champagne in her hand, and looked down to adjust her shoes. However, because she was dressed too elegantly, it was inconvenient. Siyu turned around and saw her, so he immediately walked over. What's wrong? Siyu asked. Nothing. Hua Min was too embarrassed to tell him. Is your leg injured? I think your walking posture isn't quite right. Siyu carefully noticed that Hua Min's walking posture wasn't very natural. Seeing that he could no longer hide it, Hua Min could only nod his head. Yes, there are some scrapes around my ankle. I think it's broken. Siyu immediately squatted down and carefully picked up Hua Min's foot. Hey, Siyu, don't, it's not good. Because they were in public, Hua Min felt very uncomfortable. It's okay. It's because there's nothing between us that we dare to do this in public. Besides, I just want to take a look at your injury. After saying that, Siyu took a careful look, got up and walked to the waiter on the other side to ask for a band-aid. Then, just as he was about to turn around and change Hua Min's clothes, he remembered what Hua Min had just said. He was afraid that the media would take a picture of it and spread it around. So, he walked over to Qin Ning. Hi. He took the initiative to greet him. Qin Ning was a little flattered. Hi, can you do me a favor? Siyu asked. Sure, go ahead. Can you help me put this band-aid on Hua Min's left ankle? She's injured. Okay. To be honest, Qin Ning felt a little bad. She had waited so long for Siyu to take the initiative to talk to her, but it had to do with her sister-in-law. Thank you. After speaking, Siyu handed the band-aid to Qin Ning and turned around. Sister-in-law, your foot is injured. Qin Ning walked over with the band-aid and slowly asked. Chapter 2054. Oh, how did you know? Ning, Hua Min was confused. Siyu gave me a band-aid and asked me to put it on for you, Qin Ning said awkwardly. Oh, give it to me, I'll do it myself. Huamin smiled. No, no, I'll do it for you. You're wearing an evening gown, it's not convenient. Qi Ning said as she squatted down and carefully put the band-aid on Huamin's injured ankle. Thank you, Ning Ning. Huamin looked at her gratefully. Oh, you're welcome. We're family, you don't have to be so polite. But, by the way, Su Yu is so nice to you, sis-in-law. Actually, Qi Ning didn't mean anything else when she said this. She was just envious. It was heartwarming to see that a young master like Su Yu had such a meticulous side to him. He was able to notice Huamian's injury in front of so many people. Huamin smiled awkwardly and explained, Su Yu is really a good friend. Then, everyone went back to work. Qi Ning held a high position in the headquarters, so she was good at doing business. At the charity dinner, she signed 3 orders for the company. 1 was from Taiwan, and 2 were from Europe and America. Just as Qi Ning let out a sigh of relief and was about to ask her brother for credit, someone bumped into her. Then, a glass of champagne spilled on her black suit. Oh my God, I'm crazy. Qi Ning was in a bad mood. But when she saw who bumped into her, she felt even worse. The person who bumped into her was none other than Tang Chuan. Oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally dirtied your gown. Tang Chuan held out a tissue to help Qi Ning wipe it off. Qi Ning immediately backed away. No, no, it's okay, I'll do it myself. No, I happen to have a dress for my date. You can change into it first. Don't ruin your perfect image. Tang Chuan picked up the paper bag and handed it to Qi Ning. Tang Chuan was an expert at picking up girls, so he had already prepared this move when he arrived. Usually, many women would accept it. They would wear the expensive gowns he gave them and show off their shoulders. They would be especially sexy and would let Tang Chuan feast his eyes on them, and their female companions would also be grateful for his gentleness and thoughtfulness. In the end, she would use the excuse of returning his gown to him, and the 2 of them would have a romantic story. This method worked every time. But this time, it failed. Looking at the dress, Qi Ning shook her head. I don't need it. But your suit is dirty and the party is still going on. I'm so sorry for the trouble. Hurry up and put it on. Don't be shy with me. Tang Chuan shoved the suit into Qi Ning's arms. Qi Ning still had no intention of taking it. Not only that, she straightened up and took off her dirty suit. Inside, she wore a simple short-sleeved white shirt. It was especially beautiful. I'll just take off my jacket and not wear it. It's not troublesome and it won't affect anything. You don't have to blame yourself. Then, Qi Ning threw the suit on the table and walked away in the white shirt. Tang Chuan looked at her valiant figure and was about to become infatuated with her. Damn, she's too cool. I love this woman. No, no, I have to get her. My heart can't take it anymore. This aroused Tang Chuan's desire to conquer her. After several failed attempts to get close to Qi Ning, Tang Chuan decided to change his strategy and approach her from another angle. So, he smiled and walked towards the twins who were eating ice cream not far away. Pudding, Little Bean, you 2 are so beautiful tonight. I give you full marks for this outfit. Tang Chuan praised the twins. Chapter 2055. Uncle Tang, it's not like you to kiss ass like this. Do you have a favor to ask of us? Little Bean looked at Tang Chuan with disdain. Of course not. I'm telling the truth. You 2 are already good-looking. Now that you're dressed like this, you're the center of attention. Tang Chuan continued to compliment them. So? Pudding asked calmly. So I think I need to tell you 2 the truth. If that's the case, then you don't have to. After all, the whole world knows that we're good looking. It's annoying to hear about it. But thank you, Uncle Tang, Pudding rejected him mercilessly. Then, the twins continued to eat and bully Tang Chuan, leaving him speechless. Ahem, Pudding, are all of your family good looking? Tang Chuan deliberately tried to find a topic to talk about. So you want to ask why my auntie is so beautiful? Pudding glanced at his face indifferently. Pudding, I realize that you're a very smart kid. No wonder Lord Su likes you so much. Hey, handsome Su likes us, not just my sister. Watch what you're saying. Don't offend one just because you want to please one. You're already so old, yet you still make mistakes like this. It's worrying. Little Bean said unhappily. Yes, Little Bean, you're right. Uncle Tang didn't use the right words. Don't be mad. By the way, I heard that you two like the Piano Prince, Klein's concert. So, I know he's going on tour next month. I've already booked all the VIP seats in the first row. Are you interested? I can give it to you for free. You can't even buy it with 10,000 yuan outside. Tang Chuan wanted to bribe the twins. So, when he heard from Su Yu that they liked the Piano Prince's concert, he immediately bought the VIP tickets at a sky-high price. He was extremely generous. To his surprise, Little Bean glanced at him and replied, No, it's okay. There are too many people at the concert. We don't like to crowd with other people. Don't you like Klein a lot? Don't tell me you're going to miss it. Tang Chuan was unwilling to give up and continued to tempt him. Of course not, Klein and my auntie are friends. When they were in the States, they often had dinner together. Auntie said that after the concert, she would invite him to our house and teach us how to play the piano. You can save your tickets for your girls. Thank you so much, Uncle Tang. Little Bean patted Tang Chuan's shoulder. He pretended to comfort him, but Tang Chuan's heart was about to collapse at this moment. So awkward, this Cleo was actually Qin Ning's friend. Then wouldn't it be very low of him to spend so much money to buy a ticket at such a high price? Pudding. Your aunt seems to be very powerful in the States, right? Tang Chuan asked tentatively. She's okay. My auntie joined the board of directors when she was 13 years old. She started attending all kinds of meetings and doing all kinds of business. It's already become a habit. She's not that powerful, Pudding replied proudly. She joined the board of directors when she was 13 years old. Is that okay? Tang Chuan was almost 30 years old and had only attended a few board meetings. In comparison, he felt a little ashamed. Then, did your auntie have a boyfriend when she was in the States? Was he an American or Chinese? Tang Chuan continued to gossip. Chapter 2056. Uncle Tang, is it really okay for you to ask such a direct question? Little Bean looked at Tang Chuan with disdain. But my auntie won't like stallions. Little Bean began to talk dirty. Upon hearing this, Tang Chuan's body trembled. Little ancestor, I beg you, can you not slander me? Although I like to pick up girls, that's all on the surface. I haven't really slept with many, okay? My reputation will be completely ruined by the two of you. Tang Chuan wanted to cry but had no tears. It's true. My auntie has never been in a relationship before. She's not suitable for you. You'll scare her. Little Bean explained. No history of love. So pure. The fact that you've never been in love before is a highlight. I like it. Tang Chuan was secretly delighted. That's why I think she's more compatible with handsome Su. Little Bean added. Stop. Let me explain. I'm not trying to smear your reputation, but your handsome Sue had a lot of women before. He's not a virgin. Why is Lord Sue good enough for your auntie but not me? I'm sure I'm as good as Lord Sue in every way. Tang Chuan flipped his hair, full of confidence. Pudding looked at him and replied, but we like handsome Sue, not you. Fuck. You're really direct, little girl. Tang Chuan's glass heart shattered into pieces. So. Uncle Tang, don't waste your time. We won't help you. Little Bean added. TSK. Lord Sue won't like your aunt. If you two win, it will only hurt your aunt. Tang Chuan decided to change his strategy. Nonsense. You're just afraid that you can't beat handsome Sue, Little Bean refuted. No, I'm saying that handsome Sue has someone in his heart. That's why he doesn't feel anything for other women. Don't tell me that the person in handsome Sue's heart is still my mommy. Little Bean felt like she was going to collapse. I won't say more. You two can think about it. Just don't hurt your auntie. Seeing that the twins didn't have a breakthrough, Tang Chuan left dejectedly. Little Bean looked at her sister anxiously. Sis, do you think Uncle Tang is telling the truth? Handsome Sue still hasn't gotten over mommy. I'm not too sure either. Only the person involved would know. But if it's true, mommy and daddy to each other. They only have eyes for each other. If handsome Sue can't get over her, he SSSS. Puddings analyzed, what should we do? Do you really want him to be single forever? Or with that bitch Jian Tong? Little Bean was unwilling to give up. It's not something we can control. Let's just wait and see. We'll just do our job. Then, Pudding calmly took a sip of her juice and didn't say anything else. When the banquet was about to end, Jian Tong suddenly arrived. She was dressed to the nines. As soon as she walked in, she was surrounded by a large group of reporters. Miss Jian, why are you so late? Why didn't you come with President Sue? Rumor has it that you two broke up, right? Miss Jian, haven't you met his parents? People are saying that you haven't been accepted by the Sue family. Is that true? The reporters always hit the nail on the head. Jian Tong was very embarrassed. Chapter 2057. I'm sorry, I don't know where you guys heard these rumors. President Sue and I have a very stable relationship. We've never fought and we've always been on good terms. The Sue family is also very nice to me. I've been to their house for dinner and the elders in the Sue family are very kind, Jian Tong said with a smile, not feeling guilty at all. Then, do you guys plan to get married? A reporter asked. We'll have to let nature take its course. We're both enjoying our time together. If there's any good news, we'll be the first to share it. Thank you. Then, accompanied by her assistant, Jian Tong walked into the venue. At the end of the show, she spent 1 million yuan to buy a charity item. She did charity and left a good name for herself. Then, she walked up to Su Yu and held onto Su Yu's arm in front of everyone. Aren't you out of town? Why are you back? Su Yu hadn't seen Jian Tong for a few days. Because of the promotion of the new movie, he didn't know she was back. Yeah, I came back early because I wanted to do charity with you. Jian Tong leaned her head on Su Yu's shoulder coquettishly. Su Yu smiled stiffly and turned to look at Huamin. He wanted to see a trace of displeasure on her face to prove how important he was to Huamin. Unfortunately, Huamin and Qin Chu were chatting with big clients and didn't notice him at all. Su Yu was a bit disappointed. He looked down at the wine glass in his hand. The reporters took the opportunity to take photos. Jian Tong was even more unrestrained. She gently kissed Su Yu's cheek. Su Yu pushed her away in disgust. Jian Tong, don't do this. Of course I have to act like it. Jian Tong smiled like a flower. When Qi Ning saw this scene, she felt a little upset. She turned her head and slowly drank her champagne, pretending not to see it. Sis, Bimbo Jian is here again. Little Bean pouted angrily. So, she's here to be tortured again. Pudding said fiercely. She put down the juice in her hand and walked over with Little Bean hand in hand. Then, from afar, the two of them dashed towards Su Yu. Handsome Su, I'm so tired. My legs hurt. Give me a hug. Little Bean began to act cute. Okay. Su Yu picked up Little Bean with one hand lovingly. Handsome Su, I want one too. Pudding started to act cute. Su Yu squatted down and picked up Pudding with his other hand. Naturally, he squeezed Jian Tong to the side. Auntie Jian, the other day, when I was on the forum, I saw someone say that you went out for supper with a male celebrity in the middle of the night while you were promoting your movie. Is that true? Little Bean turned around and asked in front of the media. That's someone from the same crew. Other than the two of us, there are many other crew members present. Jian Tong had experienced the power of the two little ancestors, so she didn't dare to be negligent and immediately explained. Oh, really? Then what about the script in the middle of the night? Were there other crew members present? Was it at 3 a.m.? Pudding continued to ask. There's no such thing. It's fake. The media is trying to smear my reputation. A few days ago, there was indeed a short video, but because it was too blurry, they weren't sure if it was Jian Tong herself. Plus, the person herself didn't respond, so the matter was left unsettled. After Pudding brought it up, many reporters pointed their cameras at Jian Tong, trying to find some valuable news. Yeah, I saw a lot of fans say that the woman in the video isn't you. Pudding said calmly. Of course it's not me. They're trying to smear my reputation, Jian Tong denied. But I took a closer look. The tattoo on the woman's right hand is exactly the same as your rose. I really believe that it's you. What a coincidence, haha. Pudding hit the nail on the head. Just then, the reporters furiously took pictures of the rose tattoo between Jian Tong's thumb and index finger. Jian Tong also turned pale with fright. So you looked at the twins helplessly, knowing that Jian Tong was going to be in trouble again. So Auntie Jian, handsome Su is so nice to you, why are you still so restless? Why do you have to go through the script with a male celebrity in the middle of the night? Little Bean asked. Chapter 2058. I didn't. That wasn't me. Jian Tong was going crazy, and she couldn't help but raise her voice a little. Calm down, don't get so worked up. It's better that it wasn't you. If there's a mistake, there's a way to correct it. Why are you being so loud? They're still kids. They're just joking with you. Su Yu was unhappy with Jian Tong's attitude towards the twins, so he scolded Jian Tong in front of the media. Jian Tong felt as if 10,000 alpacas were running through her heart, and she couldn't speak her mind. I'm not being loud, I just can't stand being framed. Jian Tong looked so wrong that she was about to cry. Okay, Auntie Jian, we believe you. But you're an adult now, you need to behave yourself. Although everyone says that the women in the entertainment industry are dirty, we still want to believe that you're the only one who's clean. We won't ask how you became famous. Just treat handsome Su well in the future. What Pudding said sounded reasonable, but it didn't sound right. She made it sound as if Jian Tong used to be so unbearable. Pudding's IQ wasn't something normal people could understand. However, Jian Tong didn't dare to say anything, and she cursed the twins dozens of times in her heart. President Sue, do you want to come to my place for dinner tonight? My mom made your favorite squirrel mandarin fish. Jian Tong changed the subject. She wanted to show off her love in front of the media, and she wanted to invite Suyu in front of the media so that Suyu couldn't refuse. Before Suyu could say anything, Pudding immediately looked at Suyu's face and said coquettishly, "Handsome Sue, didn't you say you were going to take us back to your mansion for dinner tonight? We haven't seen great-grandpa in a long time." Okay, your great-grandpa is really home tonight. After I'm done, I'll talk to your mom. You two can come with me, but you have to stay over tonight, okay? No problem, the twins said in unison. Jian Tong's smile seemed to have become forced. I'm sorry. I'll go to your house another day. There will be 2 guests tonight. Suyu looked at Jian Tong apologetically. Okay, it's okay. There's still a lot of time in the future. There's no rush. Jian Tong pretended to be magnanimous. The twins dominated Suyu until the end of the banquet. Jian Tong could not find a chance to do so, so she left with her assistant in anger. When the banquet ended, Suyu held the twins' hands and went to ask for leave from Huamin. I'm taking the twins with me. Come to my house for dinner tonight. Suyu smiled. They'll stay overnight too. Don't worry, Dr. Hua, Pudding added. Go ahead. You're not allowed to stop playing. Don't disturb your great-grandfather's rest. Do you understand? Huamin instructed. Got it, Dr. Hua. When we're not home, you should spend some quality time with Mr. Qin. It's a rare opportunity. Little Bean giggled. Huamin looked embarrassed. Don't talk nonsense. Kids should think like kids, okay? Huamin rolled his eyes at his daughter. Suyu left the banquet first with the twins. Within driving them, Huamin was relieved. Qin Chu and Huamin stayed behind to see the guests off. One after another, Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin meaningfully before he left. Huamin pretended not to see him. He didn't want to greet him, so he turned his face away. Little sister Mian, remember what I told you. I'll try my best to make it come true. As long as I'm alive, as long as I'm not dead, I'll never give up on that beautiful dream. Haha, Hua Xiqian's strange words made Huamin freeze. Chapter 2059. Then, Hua Xiqian turned around and left. Behind him, Hua Mian muttered to herself, he's crazy. But she knew that Hua Xiqian was talking about what he said to her when she was kidnapped at the warehouse. The island, the paradise, the beautiful scenery that Hua Xiqian described. She didn't want Qin Chu to know because Qin Chu would be worried. After all, Hua Xiqian was crazy. Wei Liao and Suyu left one after another, but Tang Chuan didn't leave. He couldn't find a chance to talk to Qin Ning until the meeting was about to end. Qin Ning was standing at the door drinking water tiredly when he came over. He took off his suit jacket and put it on Qin Ning. Here, you're wearing too little. Suddenly, Qin Ning was shocked. She turned around and was about to refuse, I don't need, but Tang Chuan had already walked away with a grin on his face. What's going on, Ning Ning? Are you close to Tang Chuan? Huamin saw this and asked nosily. No, sis-in-law, I don't even know what he wants. He scared me. Qin Ning helplessly took off the suit jacket. Just as she was about to throw it on the floor, she realized that it was from a luxury brand that she especially liked. It was a brand that was rarely seen on the market. It was handmade by an Italian company and the designer was a gay man. However, he was an unparalleled genius. He was arrogant and unruly, so the style of his clothes was bold and imaginative. Qin Ning liked it very much. A few of her clothes were also custom-made here. Thinking of this, she hesitated. In the end, she kept the jacket that Tang Chuan threw to her. After a busy day, Qin Chu and Huamin drove home tiredly after the dinner party. Tonight, we've raised more than 70 million yuan. I've already contacted South Side. We'll donate this money to children with leukemia in our name. Those children with poor family conditions who can't afford bone marrow transplants. Hopefully, we can save more lives. Well, it's up to you, honey. Qin Chu knew that ever since Huamin became a mother, she had become more passionate about charity. This was especially true for charities related to children. Today, the two little witches are not at home. We are so much quieter. Huamin smiled. If these two girls keep sticking to Su Yu, I'm going to get jealous. Mr. Qin chuckled. Can't you be more mature? Huamin teased him. Useless. You don't have to be useful with your wife and children, all right, all right. Our wise and mighty Lord Qin has now become a complete slave to his daughter, all right. That's good. I want to spoil my daughters until they're out of control so that they won't be bullied, Qin Chu fantasized as he drove. Yeah, you're right. If you continue spoiling them, no one will dare to bully them. But when they grow up, who will dare to marry them? Huamin was worried. She didn't even dare to imagine what kind of boyfriend the two girls would find in the future. Most importantly, what kind of man would be able to stand them? Aren't there already? Qin Chu looked at Huamin. Ha! Huamin didn't realize what Qin Chu meant. Wei Yunchu and Gao Buiyuan, one each, Qin Chu said. Ha 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 ha. Huamin laughed hysterically. Honey, can you not laugh so devilishly? Mr. Qin was speechless. Honey, if Lingling and Xiao Wei hear what you just said, they'll have a meltdown. Huamin continued to laugh. Weren't they the ones who wanted to marry us when we were kids? Qin Chu said proudly. Times are different now. Look at your daughters. Wei Yunchu has been bullied by them so much that he doesn't even dare to complain. Every time we get together, he hides in Xiao Wei's arms and doesn't dare to come down. Gao Buiyuan doesn't even come to our gatherings. When he sees the two girls, he runs away. Ha 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 ha, he's traumatized. So think about it, to what extent do people want to avoid your daughters? Hey, they're still young. Maybe they'll be better when they grow up, Qin Chu said with a glimmer of hope. Huamin almost burst out laughing. Chapter 2060. Mr. Qin, you think too highly of your daughters, the couple chatted and laughed as they went home. Huamin was exhausted from the day and his leg was injured. After they got home, they took a quick shower and went to bed. 12:30 p.m., Qin Chu got up and tucked Huamin in before opening the door and going downstairs. He made himself a cup of coffee in the pantry. Qin Ning walked downstairs and saw the dim lights downstairs. She knew it was her brother. Big brother, why aren't you asleep? Yeah, I can't sleep. Is sis-in-law asleep? Qin Ning asked. She's asleep. She's exhausted. She works during the day and has to attend the charity dinner at night. I feel bad for her. Qin Chu took a sip of his coffee. Sis-in-law is a very demanding person. She's very busy. She's never been the housewife type anyway. Qin Ning smiled. What about you? Why aren't you asleep? Qin Chu looked at his sister. I'm probably not used to the time difference. I can't sleep well, so I wanted to go downstairs for a drink. Qin Ning made herself a cup of milk tea. Then, the siblings sat down in the living room. Qin Chu turned on the dim floor lamp. The siblings chatted. Big brother, how long are you going to hide this from sis-in-law? I don't know. I just don't want her to worry. Let's leave it at that for now. Chin-Chu was a little down as he looked down at the brown coffee cup in the water. Sis-in-law will find out sooner or later. Then let's wait until she finds out, okay? I don't know what you're thinking. I know you love sis-in-law a lot, but sometimes you act. I can't put my finger on it. Anyways, I think you're a little weird sometimes. Qin Ning smiled. Chin-Chu didn't say anything. Big brother, yeah. So you treat sis-in-law so well. Aren't you jealous? Qin Ning asked carefully. Jealous? Of course he will. But I know that Su Yu is a gentleman. He never took advantage of someone when they were down, nor did he do anything to ruin our relationship. Most importantly, when I was in trouble, he was the one who helped me on through the lowest point of her life. People have to have a conscience. When it comes to life and death, I don't care about my love rival anymore. He saved Mion's life, so he's my savior. I'll be grateful to him for the rest of my life, Chin-Chu said slowly. Big brother, you're a man if you can think like that. You're not like some men who are petty and narrow-minded. As long as their wife comes into contact with another man, they'll become suspicious. That's why sister-in-law loves you so much, right? My relationship with your sister-in-law has already reached a certain level. We trust each other unconditionally. No matter what happens, we believe that the other party will never change her mind. So, nothing can affect us. Unless it's life or death, nothing can separate us. What if? I'm saying what if the time bomb wasn't deactivated to save Little Bean? If sis-in-law really died in the explosion, what would you do? I would keep my promise to her and raise Pudding and Little Bean. Then I would go see her with a clear conscience. Qin Ning was about to cry when she heard this. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed that her brother and sister-in-law's love was so unwavering. Big brother, I'm so envious of you. You have such a great woman who loves you so much and waits for you no matter how hard it is. I'm also envious of sis-in-law. You love her so deeply. No matter what happens, you two will always be together. Qin Ning's eyes were wet. Some miracles exist as long as you believe in them. Ning Ning, you have to believe in love. Only then will you have the chance to meet it. Chin-Chu rarely talked about love with Qin Ning. Big brother, I think you're right. Su Yu and I aren't right for each other. I've already decided to give up. Did you hit a wall? Chin-Chu looked at his sister and asked calmly. Chapter 2061. I don't think I ran into a wall. After all, we've never talked about it. You know that your daughters have been trying to set us up, but I don't think Su Yu is interested in me. Just by looking at how obsessed he has been with my sister-in-law for the past few years, I know that he won't like me. So, I gave up. I told you that he's not a good match for you. It's not that I don't want my sister to be with him because he's my rival in love. It's just that Su Yu can be very stubborn. His love for Mian is no less than mine. So I don't recommend you get close to him. After all, you're still a young girl with no history of love. It'll be bad if you get traumatized. Emichen, big brother, you're right. I'll listen to you and go back to the States after spending a week with my nieces. You're not at HQ right now, and my dad has a lot of work to do. Emichen, it's up to you. Then go to bed early. Big brother, don't make my sister-in-law worry. Okay. Qin Ning benefited a lot from this heart-to-heart talk between the siblings. After she learned about Su Yu's obsession with Huamin, she backed off. Although she envied Su Yu's love, it wasn't for her. So, she decided to give up. At night, the Hua mansion, when Hua Xiqian came back from the charity banquet, he was in a much better mood. In the study, he was copying Hua Mian's calligraphy that he had just bought. Under the calligraphy, he had another piece of white paper with the words, "Virtuous bearing all things," written on it. Although he knew that he would never be able to do such a noble thing, he believed that his sister could. So, Hua Xiqian was in a good mood as he copied the calligraphy. He hadn't smiled in days, but now he was smiling. This made his subordinates feel relieved. "Miss Yen." One of the subordinates greeted Yen Ruoshi. "Is Chan upstairs?" "The boss is." "What is he doing?" Practicing calligraphy." "Calligraphy?" He's in a good mood. I'll go see him." Then, Yen Ruoshi ran up the stairs. He went up to the study on the second floor, then pushed the door open and walked in. Hua Xiqian raised his head and glanced at her. Then, without any expression, he continued to write. "Chan, you know calligraphy." Yen Ruoshi walked over intimately and held Hua Xiqian's arm, but Hua Xiqian pushed her away unhappily. "Why are you here?" "What? Am I not welcome here?" Yen Ruoshi pouted cutely. "Ruoshi, I've told you everything I need to say. Don't waste your time on me. Come on, I'm not listening. By the way, have you had dinner yet? I recently learned about a dish called rose dumplings on Weibo. It looks really good and tastes really good. I'll make it for you." "No need, I've already eaten." Hua Xiqian refused coldly. Chan, that bitch Mo Shui won't be so obedient in the Xiang family. I think she'll encourage that old man to do something to you. You have to be careful. That bitch Mo Shui will be punished by the heavens. It's okay, I know how capable she is. She won't be able to cause any trouble. Hua Xiqian had always been dismissive of Mo Shui. But I'm worried that she'll find someone else to partner up with. You're just recovering from your injury, and the company's stock market just went through a downturn. So, I'm worried that you'll be taken advantage of. Why don't you marry me? My dad is still the mayor, and if you marry me, a lot of people will be afraid of your status and won't dare to mess with you. What do you think?" Then, Yen Ruoshi looked at Hua Xiqian expectantly. Chapter 2062. Marry you? Are you kidding me? Hua Xiqian put down the brush in his hand, his good mood instantly evaporating. "No, don't get me wrong. What I mean is, I'm the mayor's daughter now. If you marry me, it'll be beneficial for you." Yen Ruoshi explained anxiously. "Do you think I still need to marry you to strengthen my position in this situation? Are you underestimating me or overestimating your father?" Hua Xiqian's tone was extremely unkind. Stop talking about this. Let's stop talking about this. Get out of here. I don't want to see you." After Hua Xiqian was seriously injured, he didn't want to have anything to do with Yen Ruoshi. She was different from Song Yishe. When he married Song Yishe, he wanted to take revenge for Hua Mian. However, Yen Ruoshi was innocent and he didn't need her father's help. Since there was no point in doing anything, why should he waste his time on her? "Chan, I don't want to leave you. I really like you, you like me." Do you know me? You like me. Yen Ruoshi, I'm not a good person." Hua Xiqian viciously pinched her chin and warned her. "I know, but I don't care who you are. I just like you. I don't want to, but I can't control myself. Chan, I'm not like Mo Shui. I won't betray you, and I won't team up with other men to deal with you. You have to believe me, okay? You have to be clear about this. This kind of thing needs to be consensual. It can't be one-sided. I don't like you and I don't want to see you. Stop pestering me, okay? I used to be nice to you because of your father, but now your father can't do anything to me. Get out of here. Chan, get out of here. Hua Xiqian pushed Yan Ruoshi out of the door and slammed it shut. Yan Ruoshi wanted to cry but had no tears. At this moment, she hated Huamin. This was because she knew that the only person Hua Xiqian cared about in his entire life was Huamin. On what basis? Why was Huamin so lucky? Could she be liked by Hua Xiqian? Yan Ruoshi was so angry that she ran downstairs and drove away. The next morning Huamin was on his way to work. Just as he was about to step onto the overpass, a car crashed into him from behind. A serious rear-end collision. Huamin didn't think that anyone would be so bored as to deliberately rear-end a car when there was no traffic jam. Moreover, he deliberately hit her Audi R8. Although her Audi R8 was not a top luxury car, it was still worth more than 1,000,000 yuan. Ordinary people should know who he is, right? Huamin was a little dizzy from the collision. After calming down, she opened the car door and got out. Behind them was a red Land Rover. Huamin walked over. Just as he was about to talk to the car owner, he saw that the woman sitting inside was Yan Ruoshi. Huamin didn't know Yan Ruoshi at all. Other than knowing that she was Mayor Yan's daughter, he also knew that she often hung out with Hua Xiqian. That day at the hospital, something unpleasant happened, but Huamian didn't take it to heart. Miss Yan, you did this on purpose, didn't you? Huamin was a little angry. He knocked on the car window and asked. Yan Ruoshi rolled down the car window and looked at Huamin coldly. So what? If you break it, I can pay you back. You're not the only one with money. Upon hearing this, Huamian was so angry that her expression changed. Chapter 2063. Miss Yan, you have to understand that this isn't something that can be solved with money. You rear-ended a car on purpose. That's a very bad thing. Huamin couldn't understand why the mayor's daughter was so unruly. Song Yisher was like this, and now Yan Ruoshi was the same. Who said I rear-ended a car on purpose? I was distracted and didn't see it. Can't I? Yan Ruoshi held the steering wheel with both hands, looking very arrogant. Okay, then we'll wait for the traffic police to come. Huamin called the company, and Bella brought a team of professionals over. Huamin looked at her watch and felt that she was going to be late. She was very anxious. She was near the overpass, and it wasn't easy to get a taxi during the morning rush hour. She stood on the side of the road and waved her hands frantically. Finally, a black Porsche Cayenne stopped in front of her. The car window rolled down, and a man's face appeared. You look like you're in a hurry. Let me give you a ride. Jiang Yi smiled. Huamin was about to refuse when Jiang Yi said, if you're still prejudiced against me, then pretend that I didn't say anything. But I'm really going to South Side for a checkup. It's on the way. You can consider it, or you'll really be late. Jiang Ye's words obviously worked. Huamin gritted her teeth even though she hated this man. In the end, she still didn't want to be late, so she got into the car. Is it that scary to be in my car? Jiang Yi asked with a smile. It's okay, Huamin answered coldly. Ha! I can tell from your expression that you're ready to die. Jiang Yi joked. Huamin didn't answer. I heard that you went back to work at Southside, domineering CEO. Jiang Yi asked. You're quite well informed. Huamin looked at Jiang Yi cautiously. Not really, I just happen to know. After all, I've been doing a detailed checkup at Southside for the past few days. When you came back, the entire Southside was talking about you. After all, you're now the famous vice director. Coming back to work has nothing to do with being promoted. It's just that I like this job, so don't try to confuse me. Of course. Of course, I know what you're thinking. Otherwise, why would you give up being a domineering CEO and come back to be a doctor? How ridiculous would that be in the eyes of others? Huamin leaned back in his chair, took a deep breath, and said calmly, "In fact, I don't care what other people think. No matter what others say, I will live my life according to my own thoughts. I won't let any unimportant people or things interfere with my decisions. So, whether it's a doctor or a CEO, it's fine as long as I'm happy. I don't need other people's understanding and approval. That's why. I like your low-key, pretentious self." Jiang Yi laughed. "Huamin, Dr. Hua, do you want to listen to some music?" Jiang Yi asked. "Whatever." Huamin obviously didn't want to talk too much with him. Jiang Yi casually pressed the CD button, and a magnetic male voice came out. Listening to the familiar melody, Huamin suddenly felt his heart calm down. He didn't want to think about the collision with Yan Ruoshi just now. The singer was Jiang Yi, and it was an old song from 10 years ago. Huamin didn't follow celebrities, but he still knew this song. At that time, she was still in school. Jiang Ye's new album was played all over the city, and it was quite popular. This song seems to be very old. It's a song from a long time ago, right? Huamin asked softly. Chapter 2064. Yeah, this is an old song I recorded 10 years ago. Even though I didn't promote it too much and didn't become a hit, I still love this album. That's why I always play it in my car. Sometimes, I wonder how many people have forgotten their original intentions. In the end, they don't even know who they are anymore. I guess I'm one of them. Actually, when I debuted 20 years ago, I was just a young boy. At the time, I only wanted to sing. I didn't even dare to dream of becoming a singer. So, I applied for a job at a record company. I started from the bottom and slowly learned a lot. Then, Sister May, who was the music director at the time, saw that I was a hard-working person and gave me a chance to join the company's newcomer audition. I sang an old English song and was picked by a few teachers. Then, I debuted. At the peak of my popularity, I held 18 concerts in the biggest stadium in the country. Every single one of them was sold out and tickets were hard to come by. At the time, I was the spokesperson for a carbonated beverage brand. The endorsement fee was astronomical. Jiang Yi muttered to himself and Huamin listened intently. She believed that everyone had a wonderful past and an unknown story. What happened after that? Huamin asked. After that, after I became famous, I became arrogant and forgot who I was. It was too easy for me to make money. I looked at the money that came in every day and felt numb. Then, women kept appearing around me. Becoming famous at a young age wasn't a good thing for me. At the time, I was still young and impatient. I was too impulsive and too high profile. Then, I got tired of singing and felt that it was too hard. My manager started to accept roles for me and I started my career as an actor. Then, I got tired and didn't want to accept roles anymore. I couldn't move anymore. I really wanted to find someone to marry. And then... Did you find someone? Huamin looked at Jiang Ye's profile seriously. Dr. Hua, are you stupid? If I could find her, I wouldn't still be single even though I'm in my 40s. Ha! It's not that no one wants you, it's just that you haven't found someone that you're willing to marry, Huamin said. Jiang Yi nodded. That's right. I used to think that good girls were everywhere. But when I tried to find one, I realized that they were as rare as pandas. I've been in this industry for a long time, so I know all too well how shady this industry is. There are no good girls in this industry, there are only bitches. The difference is that some bitches are more obvious, like Immerse, while others are more introverted, like Jian Tong. I'm proud, so I can't spend the rest of my life with a bitch. That's why I'm still single. Actually, you can find someone outside the industry. You can find a makeup artist, an assistant, or even a director behind the scenes. Huamin tried to persuade Jiang Yi. Forget it. When you come into contact with this industry, you will know that there is no such thing as an outsider. Whether it's the makeup artist, the director, or even the assistant who does odd jobs, they have all been corrupted little by little. They all have a disgusting aura. As for me, I just want to get out of this industry. I even thought of quitting this industry completely, returning to my hometown in the mountains, finding a village girl, farming, and living my life. Isn't that a simple way to live? Huamin nodded in agreement. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.